Good evening, Stunthanger fans. I'm Rusty, your host tonight. This is the Stunthanger video chat, and it is December the 9th, Monday, December the 9th, 2019. And we're here to talk about aeromodeling for the next couple of hours. And I've got the links posted in all the usual places, which means on the At the Bench thread at the stunthanger.com control line forums. And if you are signed in as a member of Stunthanger, you can get to that thread called At the Bench. Actually, it's a forum subsection called At the Bench on the main Stunthanger page. And open forums is at the top. If you scroll down, look for the section called At the Bench, and the link to come in here with your video camera and microphone, or the first link in the newest post, and tonight's date is in the title. So if you are just watching on YouTube, and then you have the option to use your chat box on YouTube and type to us in text, and I'll try to incorporate your questions, answers, and opinions, whatever you got for us, into the live chat. And it looks like Jack Snavely is already over there on the YouTube side. Hi, Jack. Good evening. And hopefully others will be clicking in with their cameras and microphones. In the video chat box, there is a block $sign at the bottom that we call the super chat. That's where you can donate some walking around change to help Sparky pay his server fees and our hobby budgets a little bit too. And I appreciate anybody that can do that. And if you can't, that's fine. Everybody's welcome. But anyway, we'll hang out until the diehards fall asleep, and however late that goes, we'll be here. And also keep in mind that we are doing our best to keep this a um, family room quality meeting. So if any kids come in and watch us, then watch your language. Don't get too graphic with it, and just keep it family friendly. And we are making sure we comply with all of the COPPA laws now that are making sure that everybody is protecting the children's, let's see, what's it called? The Children's Online Privacy Protection Act is what COPPA stands for. We want to be compliant with all of that so that we can stay on the air. And so that's all we need to do. I think everything else, we are clean and free, but no kids on for right now. And I know that we do get some on once in a while. Let's figure out what the descriptions actually mean, because it's pretty hazy, and we don't want to get any violations on that. I think we're okay, and I know we do get some sometimes, and it's always been okay in the past. So hopefully we can keep it that way in the future. But for right now, let's restrict that as much as we can. Anyway, hey, Gary Sinclair, I just sent you an email a few minutes ago. And you were asking for the dates of the Triple Tree, rather the Joe Nall contest at Triple Tree, and for Brodak, and the Carolina Criteria, or rather the Carolina Classic here in May in the spring. And we don't have dates for either Brodak or the Carolina Classic yet, but Joe Nall is May the 8th through the 16th, and the control line contest, the stunt contest, unless they have combat or more this year. As far as I know, it's just a stunt contest, or on the last weekend of Joe Nall, after all the kids have been to the circles and flown all week, they'll close down to fly in circles. And we usually have a judging clinic and a stunt clinic with some of our world champions and experts on hand for your learning benefit. And then on Friday and Saturday, we have a stunt contest that includes, I think, old time stunt, nostalgia, and regular Pampa stunts. So hope everybody's there. I expect to be there, and a lot of you people That's the only place I ever see you. So looking forward to that. That's one of the biggest in the world too. People fly trailer loads of equipment in from all over the world and park it at Triple Tree, and there's just thousands and thousands of people. It's beautiful grass airport. It's worth going, no matter where in the world you have to come from. It's worth the trip, and so that's on my yearly list. I always try to make that. I don't think I'll get to the Nats or Brodak, but I'm glad that I've got this Triple Tree Aerodrome almost in my backyard. That in Huntersville, so I get that's my condolence. I can get to those even if I can't get to the other big ones. So look forward to seeing all you people there on the other side of winter when the sun comes back out and warms us up. And so we need some warm blood in here. Anybody can click in, go to stunthangar.com and click the link. Let's get some action going. And we'll hang out till about midnight at least. And like I said, if the diehards keep going, then we'll hang in there as long as the diehards can stay awake. So I don't have much else for you tonight. The weather's been pretty nice around here for flying in the south where I am, but I know all of you people trapped in your building rooms and your workshops in the snow country are busy at work designing, building, fixing, and getting ready for the spring on the other side of the holidays. I've already started counting the weeks till the warm weather comes. It's always it's always a tough thing to wait it out, though. It usually isn't really dependable until about May. Seems like the Huntersville contest is one of the first really warm, clear weekends that we have every year, and that's usually the first weekend in May, and then Jonal right after that. Anyway, so I don't have a story to tell you, so I'll wait here for anybody to show up. Y'all come entertain me. Let me check on my audience over on the YouTube side. Looks like we got 6 viewers. Go to analytics. Yeah, we got 6 concurrent viewers at the moment. 2 of them have identified themselves. We got Jack Snavely and Gary Sinclair. And me. And I've got my I love my dad coffee cup tonight. Oh, wrong side. They should have painted the picture on the other side. Here comes somebody to bail me out. Hey, Tom, how you doing?
Hi, Rusty.
That's the
Cold.
longest. I think that's the longest dead air I've ever had. I went about a half a minute without saying anything. I ran out of stuff to talk about. I just got your email as I was setting up the show, so I'll open that picture and screen share it when we get a few people in. I hadn't looked at it yet.
It's just a picture of snow.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, I thought it might have
It's my
airplanes or something in it.
no, it's my backyard full of snow.
Oh, God. I could have snowed that when I was talking about the weather. Let me see what it looks like here. Oh, my
It's
goodness.
it's 1 below 0 right now, and it's supposed to get down to 12 below where I am, and 32 below in northern Minnesota. So it's
Oh,
a
man.
cold one.
What are we looking at far away behind the swing? Is that a frozen body of water back there, or is that
Yeah,
just a field?
that's the lake. the Cokato Lake. That's the lake I live in. It's
Let's
frozen
see if I
now.
can copy this picture and put it on my computer. Let's see. Save as. It didn't come as an attachment. So it's just embedded in the email. Oh, I'm messing everything up now. Try that again. Okay, copy. Oh, yeah. No, that's not it. I'll figure it out in a minute.
Yeah, it took me about an hour and a half
So
to get to work this morning. We had four inches of new snow this morning on the drive to work, so it was just miserable driving this morning. Even coming home tonight after work took me a lot longer than it normally does.
well, how long has the snow been on the ground? Is it like it just piled up all of a sudden, or has it been accumulating over a couple of days? In
Yeah,
other words, what I'm getting at is how long does it take them to get out there and clean it up?
they usually clean it up really fast, but when it's snowing heavy during the rush hour traffic, then they have a harder time getting it done.
Yeah. And they throw salt out too, I guess, don't they?
Right.
Ah, okay. Now I figured out how to get this picture viewable. Let's see what we're going to do here. Screen share. Yeah, we got it now, I think. And there we go. Am I sharing the screen? Can you see the snow?
Yes, there it is.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that'll assure I send it to everybody. Okay.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
right out of I've got a sliding glass door that's out of my shop, and that's looking right out from my
yeah.
shop
I see
out into the
footprints
snow.
out there. Somebody's been walking around in it.
Yeah. And then there's a hill, and just down the hill is the lake. It's a 600-acre lake.
Is it a good fishing lake? I think y'all got lots of good
Well,
fishing in Minnesota.
there are people that catch a lot of fish, walleye and crappies.
Yeah,
Uh,
crappie must live everywhere in the world, it seems like, at least in North America anyway. And I know Mexico, they have crappie too, or we call them crappie. I grew up calling it crappie, but everybody, I guess, decided that sounded bad, and so they started calling it crappie. So,
yeah, I'm not much of a fisherman. I leave that to the people that enjoy that.
yeah, I remember, I think I asked you one time if you were a fisherman, because I like saltwater fishing where you stand on the beach and heave heave a line out and just with a bottom sinker and stand there and pull it tight and watch the people walk by and sit down. And some people sit down and watch the ride, lock the reel and watch the ride. I can't fish like that. I got to have my hands on the rod the whole time. But yeah, that's my idea of fun and relaxation, is sitting on the beach, basking in the sun, and catching panfish is about all we catch. But they they bite pretty good. Those guys down in Florida catch a lot of the same stuff we do, but theirs are about 4 times the size of ours. They get big fish in Florida. We just get panfish here in South Carolina. I love a fish fry too. Whenever we go to the beach, I always aim to catch enough fish during the week to where we can have a fish fry on Thursday. So if we're there for 2 weeks, that's 2 fish fries. But
My
eating
son-in-law,
seafood,
my son-in-law
eating
likes.
seafood is the next favorite thing to catching seafood.
My
Here comes
son-in-law, my son-in-law
Echo
loves
came in with
fishing.
you. I'm sorry, I couldn't understand what you said, Tom.
I said my son-in-law loves fishing, but he doesn't like to eat fish, so he just likes catching them and throwing them back.
Yeah.
I
Oh, I
think
can't stand throwing them back.
just the
That just
sport.
irks me on TV. They catch these beautiful fish and then throw them back in the water. I'm like, damn, dude, put that thing in the cooler. Let's go eat. What's up, Sparky?
Nothing. I'm
Not hearing anything on you tonight.
You're not.
No, I am. Everybody's a moderator again. I joined the Jitsi forums and put a question out about that, and so far nobody's been able to answer it, or nobody's even tried.
Oh, well.
I'm not worried about it. Everybody that comes in here is a member of Stunthangar anyway, so I don't think it makes any difference unless we got somebody sneaking around that's a member that we don't want. I'll figure it out.
I'm eating dinner a little late, so sorry.
That's okay. I'm starting the show off kind of slow tonight. I didn't have much to talk about, and after I finished my introductory monologue, I sat here with dead air for about a half a minute until Tom came in and entertained me with snowy pictures of his backyard at 1 below 0. And what'd you say, down to minus 12 tonight or something?
Minus 12 tomorrow, and up northern Minnesota, it's minus 32.
Yow. Well, let me ask you this. Does it feel any different when you go outside between minus 12 and minus 32?
Hell yeah.
It does. Okay. I couldn't tell if you just all of a sudden there was a point where you got so cold that any colder didn't matter.
I think the worst is when it's windy, cold and windy. Then it
Yeah.
just goes right through you. It's really feels bad.
Yeah, that'll make even weather where I live feel cold when it's damp, especially when it's wet and windy. Ah, here comes Gerald Wimmer. Hadn't seen him in here with us. Maybe he'll get a good connection tonight. I see his big G.
Hi, Gerald.
Hi, Tom.
There he
Hi,
is.
Sparky. Hi, Rusty.
Hey,
Hey, guys.
Gerald, good to see you. How you feeling these days?
Good to,
Your episode with the flu.
well, I'm all over that for now. So just normal other problems that manifest themselves. But no, I thought I'll zip in here. I might not be able to stay too long. But I was out mowing on the John Deere tractor and burnt all the belts. And then I hopped on our old Same tractor, Italian tractor, and carried on mowing with that, knowing I've got to buy more belts for the mower. But I thought I'll come in and have a bit of a natter before I got to shoot off and go and finish off what I was doing and make the dinner. But yeah, we had our stunt contest on the weekend.
Have you got one of those 0-turn hydraulic mowers? Or is it
We've
just like
got a Toro mower that we used to do the flying field, and then to do the rest of all the paddocks. We've got an old John Deere 2140. It's a big 83 horsepower tractor that we used to do the rest of the paddock, and the Toro is the one that we use. It's like a golf course style mower that you use to do the fairways on a golf course normally. So that's the one that does the 2 flying fields, but you have to go easy. You can't do the whole paddock with it. It's too hard for it. So even though it's competent, it just likes to cut short grass that's regularly mown. But I suppose a lot of the real style mowers and golf course style mowers are like that. They're not. You can't throw them at a paddock and say cut this knee-high grass. It won't do it. But yeah, we had our flying meet on the weekend, and that went quite well. It was,
Good. You and the family get out and fly?
We had a number of people come from around the country to fly at the Auckland Stunt Champs, is what they term it. And it was a meeting we had for our nationals. We've got our nationals in January. So I flew in F2B aerobatics. We've got sportsman aerobatics, classic aerobatics, and F2B. F2Bs are sort of equivalent of the intermediate or advanced flying the F2B pattern. The sportsman pattern is like a more of a novice pattern. Otto flew in that. Yeah. And I flew in the classic aerobatics as well. So,
we all use the same F2B as the FAI uses. You've got 7 minutes to wave the judges and start and fly the pattern.
Yeah, that's
we
right.
got 8 minutes here in the USA.
Yeah, it does mean you've got to get your starting right, and you can't dilly about. Once you've started, get out to the handle. Especially if it's taken you a while to start your motor. I normally just use an electric start just to ensure I get that I don't lose points for using the electric start, and it just means I can get out to the handle quicker if something goes wrong. If I have to run back to the handle and adjust the motor or something else happened, I don't lose any minutes or any seconds. And for our
I've never run overtime before, but there are times when if I was flying in FAI rules, I would have run overtime because I've gone over 7 minutes plenty of times.
Yeah, I've done it many a time, and the model I was flying, I changed to a different tank in the effort to ensure I didn't overrun and lose my landing points. And it was going well, but I lost it on the last flight doing the squares. I went in, I pancaked it in on the downwind, on the down. I was doing like the outside part of the square, and I was going on my vertical down, and I just couldn't get it in the wind. And people said watching it, I just got it in the wind. It got slammed into the ground. It didn't damage it too badly, but there were lots of damaged models due to the wind. It was very gusty, and we had a lot of turbulence off the trees where we were flying our contest. So it was challenging conditions. But Otto flew very well. He crashed as well. He was on his third flight actually when he crashed, and he just he just didn't. He was doing the vertical 8, I think, when he crashed. He was nearly at the end of his pattern, and he just miscalculated his pull-out height and lost it into the ground. And it was a bummer because he was going to use the same model to fly in the classic aerobatics as well. So from that lesson, we thought, well, ensure you've at least got 2 models with you in case something goes wrong, and then you can't compete in both of them. But Matt flew afterwards, and so did my wife Alina. Had a bit of a fun fly after with my sister-in-law. They all flew as well, but it was just not the best conditions, and the layout of the field. We'll have to move our circles further away from the fence so that we are not flying in turbulence.
Yeah,
but it was challenging. But the weather here. Listening to Tom speaking about the -1 or -10 degrees. We're very, very different weather right now. I'm in short sleeve shirt. It's very, very different. Just hot and muggy at times. Now, how about you, Rusty? Is it warm or very cold where you are in North Carolina?
It's not bad here. It's beautiful here. It got up to almost 70 degrees today, and I think it's probably in the 60s out there right now, but it varies from week to week. It goes through phases where it's down in the 30s at night. We haven't hit the 20s yet, unless I've just forgotten about it. We hadn't been down in the 20s yet, even here in the southeastern United States. It stays pretty pretty temperate here most of the year round.
Is it due to the just the fact that you're closer to the sea that I suppose Sparky's more inland, so he's going to get colder temperatures as well, I imagine. And
I'm getting all that.
Well,
I'm getting all that cold air from Minnesota, Chicago, Wisconsin.
yeah, I'm about 120 miles, 130 miles from the ocean, so I don't think that affects us because our prevailing winds come from the west over the Appalachian Mountains and then sweep down over the lowlands of South Carolina, and so I think it's like a lower jet stream that that drives our weather, and it stays pretty moderate here. When our winters are usually in the 20s and 30s at night, and in the 40s in the daytime. Once December, January, February come, and then that's about as bad as it gets. We get a little bit of snow once in a while, and it's gone by lunchtime the next day, and so it's plenty tolerable in this part of the country.
It's going to be a
It's
Minnesota
latitude.
heat wave. It's going to be a Minnesota
Yeah.
heat wave tomorrow, 27 degrees.
The latitude affects the weather from south to north in my part of the country more than the ocean or anything else does. We hardly ever get winds from the east, which would come from the ocean, and we just don't get wind from that direction here.
when would you get your first reliable, reasonable weather for getting out flying? Would you be able to fly in March or April? Hold a contest then, or it's still too cold?
Yeah, no, it still might be chilly at night, but the daytimes are pretty nice if it's not rainy. The more you get into March and April, the more unpredictable the precipitation gets, and so you might have to deal with some rain. But temperature and wind wise, the spring's always kind of windy, but I don't think there's anywhere that's not a kind of windy some of the time. And
Yeah.
Must be weird
Yeah.
to live in New Zealand and have Christmas in summer.
it seems
that's
weird from up here.
Yeah. For
Probably,
us,
probably,
we used
probably
to it. We
seems
used to.
weird. Probably seems weird to the New Zealanders to have a cold, snowy winter because when we watch movies about Christmas, it's always snowing, and when we watch movies about July, it's always hot, sunny, and beach weather.
Yeah.
Now, what were you going to say, Gerald?
Oh, just growing up in New Zealand, you're used to having a warm Christmas. That's something I've always been used to. But a lot of people have come to New Zealand. They've got a lot of immigrants here, and they miss it. So they'll have their midwinter Christmas. They'll have midwinter Christmases in June, where they'll do all the Christmas food and the Christmas celebrations, just so they can remember what it was like at home. Where obviously a lot of people feel homesick. My father was like that, coming from Germany. And he just said, yeah, it's just odd having hot weather in the middle of Christmas time. But yeah, for me, being born here, I'm quite happy with holiday season. Christmas season means flying season for us.
Of course, it'd be weird to
So in
be
y'all's,
snowing in July for me.
so in your children's storybooks and all, like does Santa fly a jet ski or something?
Yeah, it's funny because most of the TV movies programming tends to come from Europe or North America, and so they're used to seeing it. They're used to seeing the Muppet Christmas special or whatever it is, and seeing it with the cold weather, not our weather. So quite used to it. Hi, Dennis.
Hey, Danny.
Hey, Gerald. Hi, Sparky.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, Rusty. Nancy, Tom's here.
I don't.
And got the whole gang. I was
You with us,
listening a little
Danny?
bit on YouTube and getting an update on Christmas Down Under. That sounded interesting.
Yeah, well, I think the kids mainly just forward to having the holiday break. I don't think they'd really mind if it was snowing outside, as long as they get a holiday break for Christmas. That's the main thing they worry about.
I'll give you guys an update before I sign off on my Tucker. Yeah. Let me throw this out. Shoot. No. Let me hold it up here. Okay. Fuselage is all doped. It weighs
Yep,
30.
I can see the glint off it.
It weighs 33 ounces now. I'm going to put the fillets in probably tomorrow night if I can stay awake. Got the landing gear bent, as you guys saw in the video. It's going to be a nice airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna make your fillets out of superfill.
Oh, yeah. No, we're going to use leather. Yeah, I'm going to use super.
Yeah, man.
I've got a
Those
Pretty
old
nice.
guys that did use leather, what did they put that leather down with? What did they glue it down with? Just white glue? Wood glue?
Ambroid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Brussels
okay.
Ambroid or Sigmet. But there's the Tucker anyway.
It's looking really good.
That's looking
That
good.
weight is incredible too. So that'll be great too. Really dumb question in the morning. I guess I never asked this before. Are you building this for yourself, or is this a project airplane for somebody?
No, this is mine.
Way to go! Be good
Yeah.
to see you flying someone classic too.
Yeah, I'm going to try to. I have 0 chance of winning the Nationals, but I have a kind of a half-ass chance to compete in Classic. And that all
Here comes Steve.
All right, Steve's here. Everybody, turn off your cameras. Oh.
Hey, Sparky, have you learned a song on that piano yet?
No, not really. I've been working on the Tucker. I should be practicing, but I'm not.
What are you talking about?
The piano that I got from Steve.
I gave him some.
Oh,
It's going to get wore out just like when Samantha had it.
Piano's right there. Yep.
yeah, I remember the night we were talking about that. That's a pretty nice looking piano for a little electric.
I played with it a little bit. It's a lot tougher than what I thought it was going to be. People that can play make it look real easy, but
yeah, it ain't.
Yeah, it's definitely difficult.
It ain't easy.
My wife is a really good pianist.
Yeah, my grandmother was, and she taught one of my cousins how to play, and my mom can play a little bit and stuff, but my grandma could play a pipe organ and a piano, and I mean, she played in church and the pipe organ, all kinds of stuff. She was really good, but and she learned how to play in a one-room schoolhouse.
My mom could
given
play
it up
pretty
yet.
good, but if anybody was watching her, she couldn't play at all. If she thought nobody was in the house, she could play the hell out of it. But as soon as she realized somebody was listening, she'd fall apart.
Yeah,
So I have a question about the Classic. Is that the same pattern as Stunt?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just-
same pattern. We just limited the designs to the end of 1969, December 31st, 1969. So older designs, they typically were airplanes designed around Fox 35s. They're typically smaller, a little more manageable and stuff. They still perform quite well, but there's only a handful of them are bigger than that. So.
Oh, Kitty's joined us as well.
Good.
Kit, you've got the dinner.
What year did the Super Tiger 46 come out?
Early 60s.
Oh, okay. Because I know that some of the bigger airplanes had.
Yeah, my dad built a Shark 45 from the Jetco kit, and it was what McFarland used a Canby 45 greenhead, and later there were Vico 45s out there. And the Tiger 46 was that was the new kid on the block about 1963, 64. And that original design was it still had two piston rings, and it had a small bypass on it. And it was actually, for stunt purposes, it was actually a darn good engine. Later on they went to single ring designs and stuff, and bigger bypasses that they shared with the crankcases shared with the racing and combat engines. And they ran well too, but the original ones were dead steady. So,
Hey, John.
John Miller, top of the morning, or something like that.
Hey,
Hey,
John.
good evening. How you guys doing?
Good.
We're good.
What have I missed so far?
Nothing. Kind of a sublime night.
Not much.
We hadn't really got in the groove yet.
All right.
You just missed all the
So-
talk about weather. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody's
Yeah,
got
we
that.
talked about the weather in Minnesota and then the weather in New Zealand a little bit. And that was
yeah.
about it. Sparky showed us
That's
his
not fair.
plane.
Got
That's
me
not
a
fair
new
to talk
camera
about-
for streaming.
Oh, tell us
Who
about
did?
it, Sparky.
One thing, Rusty, I went to your website. I was actually looking for some old hangar hangout, stuff like that. And I saw, on the Stunthangar site, they stopped like in 2018. I thought, there must be other new ones. I found them on your site and everything like that. But while I was there, I was messing around in some of the other videos you saved. Where in the world did you find those soapbox derby racers? Those crashes.
Was that a video that you're referring
Yeah,
to?
there's a video on your site. Yeah, you had it
Oh,
there. You had
I didn't know where I came up. That's probably in my favorites list or something. I don't know.
yeah, but that was crazy. I think it was one of those Red Bull things where one of those goofy, crazy things, and everybody had these cars assembled out of baby coaches and bicycles and whatever else, and flying off of
I
hills
think I
and
remember
everything
what
else.
you're-
And like every single
Yeah.
one of them crashed. One of them did actually hit the finish line, and it ran over the race queen. It was like scary as hell. I don't know how she didn't get her legs broke or something, but
Well,
I
I'm
don't know.
off to
It's just
bed,
a
so
crazy video.
here's the DJI Osmo Mobile that I'll be streaming with this year.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
I'm out of here.
So what?
All
All
right,
right.
Sparky. Good night.
If you point that at
Interesting.
something, will it hold? No matter. Oh, he's gone.
I think you're going to poke their eyes out with it, huh? So
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll hold it.
So you can walk around it and it'll keep right on that one thing you pointed it at.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
I got another Osmo, but it's for recording. I wanted one for streaming.
Now, like, say if you put that on an airplane, will it follow the airplane around the circle?
I don't know. It's supposed to, but we'll see.
Well, something like that costs.
Something pretty.
I got this one for I think it was $120.
Wow.
Cheap.
Wow, that's pretty good. If it really works well, if it can track a control line plane and keep it in focus, that would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
it does slow motion and all that, but it all depends on your phone. The other one is a camera, same made by the same company, but it's not streaming capable. I'll show it to you here. I think I've showed it on here before. Yeah, this one here is a camera. That one there holds the phone. So
Huh.
Okay.
Is that a 4K camera?
yep,
Yeah. Okay.
shoot 120 frames a second if I want to do slow motion. So that's pretty slow.
Well, that'd sure let you see what the stunt ship's attitude was in the square corner.
Yep.
Just often the problem when you're videoing them, you can't see the detail well enough. 120 frames a second should be adequate to really get a feel for it.
If you shoot at 120 frames a second, play back at 25 frames a second, it slows it down. That's how you get slow motion.
Mm-hmm. Is 25 frames, would that be like a normal speed?
Yeah, all cinema is shot in 24 frames a second. Sometimes 30, but
I thought it was 60. I didn't realize it was that slow.
no, 4K is 320 by 2480 or whatever. 3020 by 2480 at 16:9 at 60 frames a second for 4K. It's complicated. Your eye can only see at 1080p though.
That's cool.
Well, I had
You gotta
cataract
see some new
surgery.
stuff out of your hangar.
What's that?
So I got cataract surgery. I had to put in the 4K lenses for my eyes.
Yeah.
Ah, terrific. That'll be great when you're out hunting when you're out trying to make a dive shot on field mice or something like that, huh? You'll be able to, yeah.
I think we're looking at on this stream here. I think we're looking at 780. I'm not. Did you set it up for 1024, Rusty, or 780?
I didn't set it up I didn't make any selection on that, so I don't know.
I think we're at 780 on this. Like I say, your eye can't see 4K. I don't know why they have to have it.
Well, I suppose it's like the frequency response on the stereo. Most of us can't hear half the frequency band. Once it gets over 8 kilohertz or whatever, the hearing drops off.
Well, it's just like
So
light.
going to 20
a light bulb's at 60 hertz.
Yeah.
I think it's about 3,000 RPM.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say it's actually, and not 60, it's 120 because light turns on when it goes above 0, and then it turns on, off, and back on when it goes below 0. So for one full 60 hertz cycle, it turns on twice. So it's 120 for a light bulb.
If I remember right, I can get my tack out and point it at, but I think it's about 3,000 RPM.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, let's see.
Good way to
thought it was 3,600.
Yeah, you might be right, Dennis. Let's see.
All right.
That means you can't use your testing your electric motor at night using a normal light bulb. I learned that a long time ago.
3,600. That's right. 60 times 60.
Yeah.
because it turns on twice for every full cycle. It should have been a no-brainer.
These
Well, if
LEDs
you need
run
no
at
brains, I'm your guy. So
these LEDs run at 2400.
Hmm.
Oh no, that's on 3-blade. 4-blade.
Yeah, 2-blade prop. Your tachometer is calculated for.
Yeah, 360. Yeah, 3600.
Yep.
okay. All right. I'll use that as a entry for my show and tell thing. I got something I wanted to show off. Not a big
Okay.
consequence. We were talking about this a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, not rotating.
Yeah, rotate. Wow.
Yep. It's got a 2826 Outrunner motor on it, and Christmas. We had the family Christmas party last weekend, so my nephew has been working on this. My nephew Archie, down in Kentucky, he brought it up and brought me one I could fondle and play with a little bit and everything like that. So the motor's back here. He provides air scoops for it, everything like that.
Hold it up
And
so we
then
can
it
see it.
also provides the base for
Up.
the truck.
Up.
Oh,
There you go. Yeah. So there's 2 motors in that.
one motor, and it's a planetary gearbox.
Gearbox. Okay.
All right. And it's
That's
quite
pretty
free,
neat.
actually. So this has 2 9-inch props on it, which gives you the same, but just about identical blade area to a 12-inch prop. If you were going to run this motor with a normal 2-blade prop, you'd probably fly it with a 12.6. So
Mhm.
2 9s should load it up about the same. He's still experimenting like crazy. He hasn't got it airborne yet because he's been busy breaking them on the ground. He's trying to go through his durability test and stuff like that, before
Yeah.
he puts it in the air. So he is making all his own gears and everything like that, and messing around with different materials and different lubes and everything like that.
So how much does that weigh?
I'm not sure. I think it weighs something like I'd be guessing. I would just be guessing. He put it in there someplace, but I don't really know. I don't know how much what it weighs compared to say a single blade with a prop adapter and spinner.
Now, is he making the part you got your fingers on there, the case?
Yeah,
Or
he's making
whatever?
everything. The green motor case. You
Yeah,
can just barely see the motor in there. That's a regular Aerowin X mount. The green motor case is 3D printed, and then the back of the spinner is the black part here, and then the spinner shell, that's all 3D printed. So that's a, just for reference sakes, that's a 2-inch spinner. So
what equivalent motor would that be? A 40 or a 60 or what?
what do you turn it? Whatever you'd put a 12.6 prop on, 46.
Yeah.
Maybe a 46 or something like that. So
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
yeah, let's put it this way: if somebody had an LA 46 and we were replacing it with electric, I'd recommend this motor with a 12-inch prop on it. All right, and
I
say
run a
you pick
12.4 on my LA.
these props because it should be about the same total load. So he'll be messing around with different prop sizes and types and pitches and everything like that. He's got 4.5, 5, 5.5, and six pitch props that he can mix and match. It's going to be
The airflow
optimized.
would be over.
I'm sorry.
The airflow through that would be over my head, but I'd be interested to hear somebody that can describe it, talk about the air coming off of the front prop, and given the rear prop, would it be like the rear prop's got a compressed airstream coming at it, so it would be able to double
It's
the
already
outflow?
turned and accelerated. So the rear prop is accelerating it more. And so you end up with typically a lower pitch prop on the front and a slightly higher pitch prop on the back.
It gives laminar airflow. Instead of spiral airflow, it gives laminar airflow. One prop cancels out the swirl.
Well, it cancels out the torque reaction, but I think I can't help thinking that there's still going to be a swirl off that back prop because it's the last one to touch the air.
Nope. I've looked at a bunch of charts, real aerodynamic charts, and that's what it does. It gives laminar airflow so that the air flows straight over the wing.
Yeah.
It's
The other thing that the other reason they do it on full size is you get something like the last of the big Griffin engines and stuff like that, and the Sabres and stuff, 2,500, 3,000 horsepower and stuff like that. There were limits to how big a prop they could put on them and how many blades and stuff like that. And so on things like the last Seafire with the big Griffin engine, they put a contra-rotating prop on it, 2-3 blades. And of course, the Seafire was a carrier airplane, and the two props, were neutral from a torque standpoint. So the airplanes, were a lot easier to fly off carrier decks than they were with.
Probably a lot easier to land too.
I'm sorry.
Probably a lot easier to land also.
Well, yeah. Anytime you put you I guess that was one way that you weeded out pilots, rookie pilots in any of the high performance airplanes in the late war there. They come in, even a Mustang on ground. If you do a go around, he'd be coming in low and slow, hit the throttle and roll over and die. And,
do you know why? Do you know why an F4U Corsair has a gull wing?
Try to shorten the landing gear.
Yeah. Well,
So because the blades had to clear the deck.
right. And why is the pilot so far back?
Probably to balance. Fuel tank was in front of him, actually.
Nope, that's not why. So he could see the flight deck, so he could see the ground. He couldn't see over the wing when they were sitting there.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to hit it.
All right.
See you guys
Hey,
next
Sparky, take it easy.
Anyhow,
I never knew.
Right now, it's just a toy. And hopefully, he's going to have it out flying this year. So
I never knew that Lake Michigan had 2 aircraft carriers during World War II.
Yep. And they were paddle wheelers.
Paddle wheel aircraft carriers. Yep.
Wow, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, the Wolverine and the Sable.
Yep, exactly. And I didn't realize that George Bush.
Yeah, George Bush. Well, there was some 35,000 pilots or something like that went through there.
You had to learn how to land on them before you could go to a regular carrier.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still picking airplanes out of Lake Michigan of all the guys.
Yeah.
Because there's no salt water in Lake Michigan, so they were staying good. But now we got them zebra mussels that eat up aluminum or something when they get on them.
Yeah.
You're showing that the zebra mussels are really killing them old airplanes, but they showed like 40 years ago when they pulled one out, the things almost look brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they still had the markings on them. I remember saying that.
Yeah. Down at the Navy Museum down in Pensacola, I had an opportunity to go there this last fall. They actually had a little display where they had a couple of the airplanes that they pulled up, and they didn't restore them at all or anything like that. They actually, one of them had like fishnets hanging off of it. That's the way they found it. And they brought it back and they tried to, set it up exactly the way they found it. There was a Corsair, or not a Corsair, a Dauntless and a Wildcat, I think. So.
Sure. Yeah, that was just on some damn show, probably PBS here or something to do with Michigan.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're out of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wondered why when we go to Chicago, they talk about the Navy Pier. And there ain't no Navy there or nothing.
That's where they parked them, man.
But that's where they were at during that time. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And they used their training facility and stuff is now where that mall's at. They turned that into a mall or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. I just thought maybe Old Navy was there or something selling jeans. And they called it Navy.
Really. That's it.
But yeah, I mean, it's like people say stuff and I just accept it. Okay. never think of why they would call that the Navy Pier, because I never thought the Navy would have been on Lake Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Calm down.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
There's a bunch of planes in the bottom of Lake Murray here in Columbia too. Well, just west of Columbia, because I don't know if they were from the Doolittle Raiders who trained here, but a lot of others I think trained, and they used a couple of the islands. In fact, one of the islands is known as Bomb Island. It's a favorite campground of people that come out here and want to camp and fish. And they pulled a lot of planes out of Lake Murray. I think, what did Doolittle fly? Was that B-25 Mitchells?
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
B-25.
In the Detroit River, right near downtown, there are the remains of an Avro Vulcan bomber.
Wow.
There was, the RAF did some kind of a extra, special training mission. They flew from somewhere in United Kingdom, flew across the pond, circled Detroit, and flew home. At least that was the plan. Unfortunately, one of the airplanes had a major problem right there. Ended up crashing and broke up on the way down. Part of it fell on land, I guess, and part of it fell in the river, and it's still there. So,
well, didn't they use the Detroit River and stuff too to practice torpedo bombing or something?
well, yeah, Glenview or Grosse Ile Naval Air Station, really downriver from Detroit. Probably 20 miles or so downriver from Detroit, there was a naval air station there, and it was a training station turned into a reserve station. But before the war, they actually had blimps stationed there too. The one blimp was made in Detroit. It was actually an all aluminum skin. It wasn't fabric at all, and it was built. It served or based there, and used it for 10 years or so, and then no use for it. And they dismantled it and turned it into beer cans, I guess. But
I wonder how thick that aluminum was. You think it was like soda can, beer can?
yeah,
thick?
you'd think it would have to be. The idea of an aluminum, blimp strikes me as an odd thing.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I didn't
aluminum's light, but it ain't that light.
I
You
can't
gotta,
imagine why they do that.
Yeah.
But it makes a lot of sense that they said Canadian pilots were close, part of the Detroit River, but they trained them there, and English came over too because it was safe. They could practice and didn't have to worry about German.
Well, there were a few of them were flying American planes too, Avengers especially, and I think that's what they were mainly training there. But yeah, George Bush went through there too before he went to Chicago.
Well, I didn't know that he was trained on for torpedo. I thought he was
an Avenger pilot. Yeah. So, or that's where he ended up. But,
are we talking about George H.W. Bush?
Yeah,
the first. Yeah. H.W. the Navy man. So.
Hey, Dennis.
Yes, sir.
You need to do John a favor and have like 4 or 5 of them airplanes that he designed cut from Brodak. That way he can build them all and then let some of us test them for him and see how that design works. And I'd even pay for my test kit.
Mm-hmm. I think I missed the story there.
Well, I got y'all on here. It occurs to me, sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to say it while I'm thinking about it, is Gary Sinclair's making our 2020 calendar, and any of y'all that want to have a picture of a plane in it, and you can be in the picture too, whether it's a current build or just something interesting for the calendar, contact either me or Gary, send us a picture, and we need just a few more to fill it out. We need a front picture, cover picture, and a back cover picture, and I think one more for one of the months inside. And I hadn't gotten him a picture for him either, but I hadn't built anything lately, so I hate not being in the calendar because I want to be in the calendar. But if I can't,
Yeah.
Have a picture of your pretty face on there.
That's it. Rip off your shirt,
yeah,
show your
Yeah.
ripping biceps or something like
there
that.
you go. Oh yeah, that'll be impressive.
Well, hey, I
Well,
nominate. We need a picture
Look at
of.
those arms.
I've been looking at it for so many weeks. I think we ought to have a picture of Tom Skylark in there or something like that.
Yeah, Tom, you could send him that. It doesn't have to be
That's it.
control line.
Tom, you got that? Is it truly finished off now? You were
No.
awfully close.
It's covered, but I don't have any of the trim on.
Yeah.
I've only got only have it covered in silver.
Well, as far as yeah, that looks nice. As far as the calendar goes, it can be a skeleton for all we care. We just want something that looks interesting. So, yeah, if you want to send that or anything else.
No, Dennis, Friday you missed. John was hoping you got that his airplane catted out, so it could be a kit could be burned out of it.
Oh, okay.
So I just thought I was thinking about that instead of just doing one, do 3 or 4. He can build them all at once because it's faster to do multiple planes at the same time, and then we can give him feedback on how the plane flies.
Okay.
the hard part would be getting them to you.
Yeah.
Well, hell, if you
Break-
build them and everything, we'll come pick them up.
Oh, you know how far that is?
Oh well.
Yeah, it's only about 2,000 miles. What the heck? So.
Look, really, Dennis, actually, he's partly correct on that. I'm hoping that you are able to get your electrical version because, you know, I've got an IC version. I know it flies, even though I crashed it.
Yeah.
You know, because of that failed flap horn. But you know, I'm looking forward to doing the electric version of it. And Trian had a good suggestion to giving some thought in. I've been thinking about doing a little work on my end of going to a instead of that 18%. Well, actually, it's 18% before I put the flap on, so it's probably 16. That's probably okay, but it's a smaller airplane, so it doesn't. It looks too fat to him. And the thought is maybe going to say probably down to about maybe 12%. And go and taper it down to the tip a little bit better too. Anyway, these are things I'm kicking around in my head. I did bring some pictures. Yeah, you're shaking your head. I did bring some pictures of the original today for show and tell. If I can figure out how to share the screen, if you guys want to see it, let me know.
Put them up.
Yeah, we'd like to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told him too. Didn't you say that you're working on an airplane with like 12 or 13%?
Oh, that's the biplane. I brought a picture of that too.
No, I meant
actually brought
Dennis. I thought Dennis said here a few months back that he was
I have a wing drawn up that I planned for the next airplane. It's actually 18% at the root and 12% at the tip. And the tip airfoil looks really, really strange, by the way, you know, because, you know, you get used to looking at them the other way. And so I haven't actually built it yet. But where I was going from, and if you take a look at some of the old plans, you can see it. That was the formula they're one of the formulas that came out of Cleveland. People were designing their the Cipras, John Havel, Jim Sahabi and stuff. They were flying, and I believe the what was the airplane? Was it Magnum, the one that George Aldrich came out with after the Nobler?
Yeah,
I think that was the one. It was like 18% root, 12% tip, and you know, a lot of taper in the wing and stuff like that. And then that was the basis for John Havel's Fokker Speed King, which was one of the most beautiful airplanes I've ever seen. And see, Gary Siprov won senior in the Walker Cup with his version of that airplane. So it would certainly perform, at least in that time, that context. So
You know that Magnum had a platform looked very reminiscent of the Firecracker out of
yeah,
Australia.
yeah. I
The
guess I'm
Magnum was
curious
a
whether,
I mean,
how
was
much of the DNA gets shared, if you will. If if what that was Brian Ether. I wonder if Brian was thinking of that when he designed it.
Now, is that different than the Sig Magnum?
Oh, totally.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
okay.
See, I'm not even sure what
I was
you
going to
compare
ask.
it to. Yeah, it was
I was
actually,
gonna ask if that was
it was supposed to be a closer representation of the, all right, what was the French airplane, the racer,
Cadron. The
Quadron.
Cadron.
Yeah, Cadron, whatever.
Yeah.
Cadron, it's French to me, right? So I don't know exactly how you say it, but it was, yeah, it was, the outline was a little more, especially you could see it in the fuselage. The outline was a lot more reminiscent of that than, the Nobler was supposedly based on that too, but this was more so. Highly tapered wing. And let's see, I understand that Brian Ether, when he worked on the Firecracker, the airplane was designed for and it performed extremely well in windy conditions and stuff like that. And I've always thought that the high taper was a darn good idea in the wind, because you get rid of all that area out at the tips where you get a little less wiggling and wobbling because of that. So
buffeting.
What was
No,
the
straight
Nobler?
chord wings are the worst.
It's
yeah, you know how a straight chord wing tends to be like kind of kitey in the wind, stuff like that. And the opposite of that would be to taper it as extremely as you think you can live with. There's probably a point where you can go too far on that. But if you get rid of the area at the wingtips, you have the area in closer to the fuselage, you get a little bit less rocking and rolling in the wind and turbulence.
now was a Nobler 16%, 18%? Does anyone know?
Nobler was,
Well,
I think it's like 14% when you put the flaps on it, isn't it? It's pretty thin.
yeah, about that. There was one showed up at VSC some years back. Aldrich's Magnum.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the problem with it was it was hard. The difficulty in finding the plans. There are no plans for it. There's a one of those little sketch things, the little box
Mhm.
things that is basically doing. That's all that there was of that. And so you have to really work hard at making up that design.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Got a set of plans I got from my dad. I don't really know the heritage on it, but I thought it was accurate, because the plans show a Johnson 35, like Havel and Cipro were using, and it's mounted on a firewall instead of on beams, just like they did. All right. Now, I don't know. That could have been drawn. Hell, I don't know. Maybe it was drawn 30 years after the fact or something like that. But it looks like it's a pencil drawing, certainly not a CAD drawing or anything like that.
Yeah.
But the other problem with it is that it's got a very, very long nose, accentuated by the fact that there's a lot of leading edge taper, making the effective nose length even longer. I think it'd be a real bear to try to balance it with a muffler, and especially if you used a heavier engine like like an LA 40 or 46 or something like that. I don't know how you balance the thing. But,
Electric.
What are the old?
well, electric with the battery in the way back, probably.
Yeah.
So, but
It's a
yeah,
good looking airplane.
yes, it is. John Havel did such a beautiful job with his. He recreated the Folkerts SK3, the Jupiter, Pride of Lamont. Did it with the creamy yellow and red paint job. He had all the emblems on it and everything like that. Finish was just spectacular on it, and it's one of the prettiest. I mean, like a top 5 airplane that I ever remember, as far as being pretty and everything like that.
So, Gerald, did you get a new cable, Wi-Fi or something? I mean, you got really good picture.
Yeah, you're coming in like a rock star out there.
I don't know what's brought that about. I just thought I'd have a look for the Magnum on the AutoZone website, and there are a whole lot of different Magnums besides the Mike Pratt ones, the Tom Dixon, Randy Smith Magnum Plus, and a whole lot of RC Magnums. But otherwise, it's just Mike Pratt's Magnum that shows on here.
Mm-hmm.
But there was also a David Owen Magnum from 1976, and that's a it's a smaller model.
Mm-hmm.
So
The
yeah,
the Aldrich Magnum is a classic era design. Like I say, I don't remember which magazine that little it's like a not even a quarter page, about a one
It's like a 2-inch
1/8
square. Yeah.
yeah, little square. Do you know
Yeah.
what issue that was in?
No idea. No idea. I'm thinking it had to be like a mid-60s also, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know how many times did he fly that in the nets? Did he only fly it once, or did he fly it all in the nets?
I don't think it ever went to the Nats. It was
Okay.
well, okay, not George's original design. Is I believe the Cleveland folks started working on it, and the first thing they did is they changed the moments on it to make it bounce better. And then Jerry Cipra's airplane didn't look like the Magnum, but it was based on it. It had the same wing and stuff like that, and it was flew well enough for him to win senior and the Walker Cup with it. So darn good flying airplane.
Darn good.
And John Havel had his, but he crashed the original one, the one I thought I liked so much. He built a second one that I never saw, but I've heard he still has it. He actually brought it to Brodak. Got to be five or 6 years ago when he was there, and I didn't get to see it then either. I heard about it after he left, so great timing. I don't know if I've ever even seen a decent picture of the thing. But, oh well.
I'll look through my VSC pictures that I've taken, because I was there when it was there, and I may have a picture of it amongst them all.
As I recall, Frank McMillan built one that it's been at VSC. Does that ring a bell?
That rings a bell.
Yeah. And I think
bet he's got a picture of it.
Oh, I'm sure he does. And Frank's a wonderful builder and a pretty darn good flyer too. So I'm sure it looked pretty good there. So
you've got me curious now.
Yeah,
see what it looks like now.
Well, let me go dig a little. I think I actually have that picture that John's talking about. I think I have that somewhere in a folder here. Let me see if I can dig that up. So I'm going to disappear here for just a minute. I'll be back with you.
Oh, I was going to say too, Sparky had that little camera thing or whatever. Through work, they gave me a $700 and some Motorola phone with dual cameras and all that, because we got to document stuff all the time. And I bought this Pixel phone, and I heard that the camera was so good on it and all this kind of stuff. It's $300 camera. Well, I had to get parts for a 30-year-old pump. So I'm got my work phone, and I'm taking pictures, trying to get serial numbers and stuff up on it. And
there it is.
Nothing. It just, you couldn't read it. So I thought I'd take one with my own phone, snapped a picture. It was so clear, it was unbelievable. I didn't realize different cameras could be so different in a cell phone.
Yeah, I'm surprised at that too. I'm not crazy about cell phone cameras. There's people, I've seen some beautiful pictures, but the lens is so tiny and stuff, and they got lots of megapixels, but man, it's like you're still limited by that little tiny lens and how much light you can get through there. You can take a nice picture, and the next picture you can take can be pure crap. You know.
Well, that's like with this one too. That I got, that pixel was supposed to be so good in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
You can take pictures of the stars and stuff, and it's just unbelievable how good it works.
Mm-hmm.
Or in a dark room, how well the thing works in low light. It's just crazy. I'm waiting to take some video with it flying to see how good they come out. Because I just had a hell of a time with different stuff. Oh, the Magnum looks just about like the damn.
Looks like a Nobler with a really tapered wing.
Yeah.
Yeah, very. The thing that really jumps out, I think, is you see how much taper there is in the wing. You're looking at like 13.5-inch root cord down to under 6 5/8.
It's almost an elliptical wing.
Well, a great big pointy, great big tips on it and stuff, but it was linear and all. But as I recall, the outline was a little more, wasn't quite this simplistic either. I think that lost something in the translation to this little drawing. But also look at the date. I didn't realize it was that old. I thought it was newer than that.
But if you put elliptical tips on that, would that make that an elliptical wing?
No.
No.
Elliptical wing would have a lot more area through here before it gave it up, at the tips and stuff like that.
Actually, it would almost be straight out from the fuselage for a short distance before it would start to curve.
Yeah, something like that, and then finally sweeping out. I don't know, if I built this thing, I would keep the taper, but I would sweep the trailing edge forward. I'd bring those wingtips forward about there.
Hey, back to a Nobler.
Well, I wouldn't. I like the highly tapered wing. I just don't like all that sweep in a leading edge. That's all.
Hey, yeah, you can see there his flaps. He kept them way back from the tip.
Yeah, well, the flaps basically faded to nothing at the tip, and then they were an inch. I thought there was a dimension. Yeah, they're maybe an inch wide there. 3 1/8 there. So.
I'd like to get a copy of that, Denny. I could slip that into my CAD program and come up with a decent set of plans for that in a week or so.
Oh man, you might be my hero. Takes me longer.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Oh, there we are. Hall of Mirrors.
Interesting.
The multiverse.
I don't know
There
what
is a
the heck
multiverse.
happened. Went to close it, and the thing went into a vanishing point.
Our group just went into infinity.
That's it.
That was the multiverse.
That was.
Here, I'll show you.
Entered the fifth dimension without sight, without sound.
Denny,
Let me show you.
Have you got my email?
I'd have to look for it. We'll go offline. We'll get that taken care of, but I'll send you that. In fact, if you can, what I'd really like, this makes even more sense. I've got those drawings I was talking about. I'd rather send you those, a full-size drawing. It won't be as easy to manipulate, but there'll be a lot of details on there that would be hard to glean off that little thing. I'll send everything to you though. All right.
All right.
Send me. Do you have my email?
No, I don't.
Tell you what, we'll play games back and forth on the PM message on Stunt I'll send you a message with my email address.
All right.
And my shipping address, all that kind of stuff. We'll get it wrestled down. Okay.
That'll work great.
Yeah. But I'd like that.
Yeah, me too. I'd like to work on that. That's a plane that caught my eye some time back, just because it's what it is,
Absolutely. I'd love to see that. I hate that we're losing so many of the old designs and stuff like that because they haven't been properly documented. And
right.
I'd love to be able to document that, and the way this is George's pencil drawings. I'd love to be able to document it the way he intended it. So
well, One of the guys here in Salt Lake bought a lot of those drawings that went up on auction at BSC after he died.
Uh-huh.
And I'll check with him, see what he's got as well.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. He might have it. Like I say, I don't know where my dad got his, but I got it.
He may have bought it. He may have bought it at that
He
auction.
may have. So yeah, I'll have to. I have to remember where the heck I put it, but it's with stuff I got from Dad, so I'm sure I can find it before, without too much pain. Famous last word.
Okay.
And your productivity on drawing work is far beyond mine. One of our possible viewers here, a gentleman named Larry Fruits from Plymouth, Indiana. He doesn't usually join us. You like listens in on YouTube or something like that. But Larry, if you're out there, I still haven't finished your drawing. All right, so he wanted me to design an airplane for him, and I showed him my first draft, and boy, wow, that's great. Tweak this, tweak that, and okay, and it's like, oh, that was like last July. I haven't finished it yet, so.
Speaking of those kind of things, I think it'd be fun here sometime during the winter to get on here and group design a Stunthangar stunner. We could come up with the wing. We could then come up with and just put it together. We could CAD it. We could show the difference from meeting to meeting. I'd be willing to play with that. I think it'd be fun.
Sounds like it.
It'd be designed by consensus. Committee design.
Oh, that sounds dangerous. It's really hard to.
Okay, I'll go one better. Let's make that one design, and let's make it a one design, and let's come up with a one design event for the summer or something like that. Everybody bring up your Stunthangar special.
Yeah.
Your hangout special.
Yeah.
So
it'd be fun.
And then we'll have to make a special one. Put it through the reducing machine because Rusty likes half A size airplanes, right? So.
Well, if we do it in CAD, we can make it bigger or smaller.
Yeah,
there's no problem that way.
That's easy. Did we lose Rusty here somewhere?
Yeah,
he did. He disconnected for a minute.
Oh wow! Okay, I didn't know that. I'm picking on him, and he can't even hear me. So okay.
There he is.
There he is. He's back. Okay.
He was listening on YouTube.
That's it. All right, he's back. I gotta go back and behave myself now. Not pick on Rusty.
Stop talking about Rusty now.
Yeah, stop talking about Rusty. He's back.
Yeah, it looks like he's still having a problem. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah.
There he is.
Okay. I'm not sure we're still broadcasting to YouTube. I'll check on that. But yeah, I had a video crash apparently. I had to screen share something and everything went to hell and locked up. Had to close Chrome
frame here,
and
so
I'm still not getting YouTube Studio back. Here it comes.
While you were gone there, John Miller he just brought up a great idea that we do a hangar hangout stunt design. All right, and he'd be willing to keep notes on it and everything like that. And what the heck? Maybe we can come up with a one design and come up with a one design event or something like that. And I suggested that we, since it's in the CAD machine, we'll hit the reduce switch and we'll make one in half A size for that guy I know who likes building half A stunners. So.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
Down in history, they really call it, Rusty.
What was that, Steve?
You guys said the Stunthangar special?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call it that.
We'll have to use Sparky's boot. He's always talking about his boot aerofoils. We'll have to Sparky's boot aerofoil for it. And you'll just have to change the percentage to suit the different motors.
Yeah. Actually, I think what's going to happen is if you get this gang all contributing to a design, it's going to end up. It's not going to ever end. I'm afraid.
You don't think we could come to agreements?
Oh, I
It would be
know.
very hard.
We may be able to wrestle.
You know where the thrust line will be, don't you, Danny?
It'll end up being
Danny,
a
you know where
twin.
the thrust line will be.
Yep. And I
It'll
know
end up
I'm not
being
going to
a
like
twin with an IC motor on one side and a
an
electric on
electric
the
on the
other.
other. Yeah, yeah. I think you're getting close.
Yeah.
I think you're getting close.
Big rubber band.
Mhm. Then we'll have well, yeah, you'll have two props on it. And I'm going to insist on putting the props on this way. My two props this way. So
You have to add some servos and a receiver in there too.
hey, you're the man. Touch a dihedral and ailerons, baby.
We get a small mini computer on board and we could program it to fly the pattern.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll have Tryon do that.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. Well, Tom too. But remember Lou McFarland way back when made his Acromaster that way. He actually built he built one version of it. He could literally fly the airplane in control line stunt or RC. He could disconnect the
Really?
controls and everything like that, and he could fly it as a stunt plane on lines, and then he could take the I think he disconnected the bell crank somehow, redid his flaps, and he flew it as RC, the same airframe, exact same airframe.
You know, there was a pretty famous scale guy out of Illinois, and I'm trying to remember his name, but you'd know his name if I told you. He had a Sky Raider, a fairly large Sky Raider that he built. It was all covered with monocoat. He was the guy that was selling the monocoat, and how to put it on, and that for top flight. Anyway, he had the Sky Raider, and it was literally set up to fly scale is RC or scale is control line. It opened up, and there was everything was in there to do it. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there was
can't
some top
remember
flight
his name.
I had a
Yeah,
hell of an opportunity when in the 80s when Ed White, which lived 2 doors down from my grandma on the next road, did all the prototype monocoating for all of Towers airplanes, Great Planes, all that kind of stuff. And we could have went over there and had him show us how to do that. But we were all still into painting on airplanes. We used silk and dope, and we weren't using monocoat.
That's right.
Oh my
real men
God.
use silk and real men use paint. So
And it was a deal to where such a missed opportunity because he did that for like 10 years when it first came out. And, we'd go there to Toledo, and Ed was always there for Tower, showing off their new airplanes and new designs. And he did the monocoating schools or classes at Toledo and stuff like that. And that guy was just fantastic at it. And we're like, we ain't using that stuff. It ain't no good. But wish I would have went now.
Yeah, I agree. It's like we have, through stubbornness and whatever else, we have essentially pushed monocoat aside and everything like that, which is really a damn shame. It's really stupid because, the finish is light, it's repeatable, it's durable. If you damage it, you can repair it easily and everything like that. Oh, but that's an iron-on finish. You don't get any points for that,
They don't know how hard it is to get a good finish with monocoat.
That's exactly right.
I know
the best guy I know is Norm Whittle. And on his Sultans, his wings are always monocoated. His tail surface is monocoated. He may paint the fuselage, but I dare you to look at that and discover that that's monocoat on his wings. He does that good a job.
Is it Dane Martin?
Dane does.
No,
he has some videos on monocoating. And and he does it like Ed White, because I've seen a little bit of how Ed White did it, but when he forms that, it's not stuck to the model. He can lift it up. Watch one of his videos. He can set it down. If like on a profile where you have the step for the plywood doubler on the outside, he can make that and form that step, and it's not even stuck down.
Right.
But Ed White would leave over a foot a monocoat all the way around the wing.
Yep.
And he'd be
So you got
grabbing
something
that and
to do.
working that stuff and adding heat to where it's not even on the airplane. But he knew how to like start from way out from the wing and start shaping that plastic.
Yeah.
To where when he got up to it, it just fell right over the edge. And then he just tack it down. And
That's what I like about monocoats. You can brute force it with heat, where you can't brute force some of the coverings like Ultra Coat as easily.
But when he got done doing monocoating, he had just about as much on the floor as he did on the airplane. And when we tried it, I'm too cheap to waste that much monocoat.
No,
I try to lay it out where I can get 2 wing panels out of one length and one width, where he was, whatever hung over, he wanted all that, and then cut it real long on the end and on the back.
Yeah. Well, you got to figure too, if he had to actually pay for his monocoat, he probably wouldn't have thrown it away a foot at a time either. So.
Well, yeah. And the other thing is that his rolls of monocoat were about that big around.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they were on reels in his garage. But when I was a kid, they made monocoat about 10 miles from where I live now. That's probably not even 10 miles, 5 miles. And Sparta, Michigan was where all the monocoat was made. We had people that would go over there dumpster dive and come out with huge rolls of monocoat because the one edge would be messed up. Well, it had to be perfect when you bought it, but that one edge being messed up didn't hurt the monocoat. You weren't going to use all of the width of it anyway. And I got shit. I mean, this is some here from probably the 80s. And I was giving it away because I probably had 100 feet of it or whatever. We were just cutting it up and giving it to people. It's kind of a transparent orange or something. But
Hello, Lynn.
Huh?
Hello. How are you?
Hey.
Hey.
Got
Hey, Lynn.
insomnia tonight, Lon?
What's that?
You got insomnia tonight? Wants to put you to sleep?
No.
It's after
No
11
sleeping.
o'clock. I'm like, damn, he's got
Hey.
insomnia.
Come on now. I haven't fallen asleep for months on here.
I know.
Yeah, we're never going to let you forget it, though. So
I
Oh,
know.
I know.
I
That's
like
okay.
your tree, by the way.
Hey, it's all. Thank you. As long as I don't fall asleep at the handle, it's all good.
That's all good. Hey, Tom, what? And your Skylark, was that all silver? I couldn't. It looked like it was all silver. Is that
It is, except for the bottom of the wing. So I have a contrast, so I can see and it's kind of quite a contrast.
Okay. The reason I ask is that did you have any trouble handling the silver? I've been having a hard time with monocoat. Some of the colors, especially like white, especially. The doggone stuff only shrinks in one direction. I've been having trouble like that, and I've heard that from other people saying that the monocoat the last 5 years or so they changed something and it doesn't handle the same.
They did.
I've used monocoat in the last 5 years a bunch, and I've never seen such a problem.
Yeah, so that's why I was asking Tom, because he's got real recent experience here.
90-degree turn, and it goes. No problem.
That's why I quit using monocoat, was because the last one I did was with white, and you're exactly right. It would, however I put it on there, it would shrink span-wise, but it would not shrink width-wise.
Yeah. So, Tom, did you have any trouble like that with yours?
The problem I had was with the this silver it's not a chrome. It's got kind of some lines, like almost like brushed aluminum.
Yeah, right.
And
it's the regular silver color, right?
yeah, and so when you stretch for a compound curve, then the silver dulls kind of, and so that's the only problem I had with it.
I hadn't had any shrinkage
It's
trouble in any direction. Yeah, and it's all I've ever used on planes since my very early ones when I used Ultra Coat. So over the past 10 years, I'm monocoating everything, and I never had a problem with it shrinking more in one direction than the other.
Yeah, I've had
Or
that.
less.
I noticed it with white, and I had some transparent yellow, which used to be my favorite color to use because it was just so easy to work with. And I had the same trouble with that, not as bad as the white, but it was like, and someone said this, and I don't know if it's true or not, but it fits the thing. It's like somehow when they're rolling it up on the little rolls or something like that, they seem like they're stretching it in one direction when they roll it out, like they got too much tension on it or something. And that's why it doesn't want to shrink anymore, or why it shrinks unevenly, because it's being basically plastic deformed, literally plastic deformed in one direction when they put it on the roll.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know if that's true or not, but it would fit the behavior pattern. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
All I know is I went to China Coat, and I've never had a bad color yet.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so much better, so much cheaper.
Mm.
I mean, this whole plane here is probably 4 years old, maybe more. It may set a week in my truck out in the sun or whatever. It has to be 110 degrees in there. It just sets in my truck till I fly it the next time.
Mm.
The covering has never been reshrunk on it in 4 years. It doesn't wrinkle. It doesn't. Once it's set, it stays. I can see here, I do have one small wrinkle on a wingtip. But, I mean, for 4 years, on a lot of the stuff, every time, especially the Nobler that has monocoat on it, I got to take and tighten that stuff every time I go out. And I do not dare to leave it in my truck because it would probably relax so much it would fall off the airplane. But yeah, well, that China Coat stuff works great, and it's shit half the price, maybe less than half the price of monocoat.
Yeah.
We haven't been able to buy.
I have the.
Here in New Zealand. Oh, sorry, Dennis. I was just going to say we haven't been able to buy monocoat here in New Zealand for so long. Only the Aura cover, which is so expensive. I've been using that cheap Chinese covering, and it does work amazingly well. We used to use Solar Tex, the English product, but it's no longer available. So it does limit the choices.
What's the cheap Chinese covering called?
I understand what Aura cover over the rest of the world is what we call Ultra Coat. It's marketed as Ultra Coat here, so that's the same material. And I always heard that was the best shrinking one. I haven't used barely any of it.
Yeah.
Because I can literally have a bin full of monocoat that I'm trying to use up, you know.
Okay.
So.
I think Ultra Coats, I always said it was best for beginners because it's so easy to use, but I didn't find it to hold its shape as well as monocoat did. And like I was saying earlier, you can brute force monocoat so you can get it around wingtips and compound curves eat a lot better than the Ultra Coat.
I think China Coat, and that's what they call it, China Coat there from Hobby King. It goes around corners, I believe, better than Ultra Coat. And Ultra Coat
is pretty darn good on corners.
You're right. And the China Coat goes around better. And you never have to, it's like once it's set with heat, it's set. And it doesn't do well after that if you try to reheat it. Yeah, reduce it.
Yeah, in other words, if you got a warped wing, you can't really fix it with heat as easy as you can with monocoat. something I've had to do before.
I couldn't monocoat a wing to save my life, but I can do a good job with ultra coat. I've never had a wing yet come out reasonable with monocoat. Every time I use it, I remember why I don't use monocoat. Honest to God, every time I use it, I remember, oh, I know why I don't use monocoat, because I can't do it. And I'm not going to knock the product. I just can't use it. I suck at it. I
It's the same
cannot
with
do
me.
it.
And what
I just
what
gave
found
up. I walked away from it.
with this China coat, it shrinks with less heat,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't seem to warp wings. I always
That's
warp
awesome.
wings with monocoat because I got to turn the heat up and try to get a wrinkle out. By the time I get a
Yeah.
wrinkle out, it warps the damn wing. And
You
I'm
got
like,
to warp like a pretzel. Yeah, exactly. Because you can force monocoat, but then you risk either breaking or warping the wing.
yeah.
So I can't win with it. I just gave up. I walked away from it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's
I
why I
just-
like that China coat. You hardly have to add any heat, and you can just watch the wrinkles pull out so nice.
That's awesome.
You
Where do
don't
you get it?
Hobby King.
Okay.
Is it got a brand name or is it just Hobby King covering?
I think they call it China coat. That's why I keep
Oh,
calling
do
it
they
China
really?
coat.
Okay. I thought that was just
Okay.
what we were calling it. All right.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I'm
I
gonna
didn't know it
try
had
it.
a name either. But
Yeah, you got to try it. I think I bought
Yeah, I'm gonna try it.
2 yards of white for $10. And I mean,
That's outstanding.
1 yard of monocoat or a cover
Ultra coat
ultra coat costs like
costs a fortune.
$14 for one.
mm-hmm.
It's under half
Up here.
price. And
Up here, it's $20 for a roll of ultra coat.
Yeah.
holy cow!
Canadian. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
You gotta,
Like
you gotta
Hive
try the
hoodies.
kind of, you know,
Yeah,
if you
I'm
don't
gonna
like
try it.
if you don't like it, just give it to me when you're done with it.
I'll give it to you. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's fantastic because I'm
Mhm.
paying $26 a roll here for ultra coat.
Yeah, and I bought
Too
like
much.
2 yards for $10. I mean, in white,
awesome.
some of the colors a little more like transparent colors are even cheaper because they don't have any color on them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Naomi, you'll go nuts.
Now I did use some of that. I have used what's the low grade stuff of monocoat?
Econocoat.
I love Econocoat.
Yeah.
Now I can work Econocoat.
tried
I just cannot work monocoat
Mm-hmm.
because I did a couple models in Econocoat and they came out great. And that stuff doesn't have to be reshrunk all the time either.
I'll be right back.
Is that from John?
I
Trying
think
to
it
see
is.
if I can share
You
share my
shared it.
screen. Is it coming up?
Yeah.
Sure did.
That's the biplane.
Well, hit the thing so
And
you can see the
click
picture.
on open the files themselves. Double click the file
How
itself.
do I do it?
Just click on your menu there.
You-
2-inch pipe. Just double click on that. Right now we're looking at your menu. We're looking at your folder.
There's a little thumbnail down at the bottom, but
well, trouble is I've got this having a. Okay, you're looking at that, and you need this one. Is that coming up?
No.
no, you got there. Now double click there.
Where? Here?
Right there.
Nope.
Where
Yeah.
you're on.
Yeah, double click it.
Did that come up?
No.
No.
All right. Are you seeing the full picture on your screen?
Yes.
All right. We're seeing your folder. I think what you have to do is go back to the, stop sharing for a minute, go back to the sharing. Oh, wait a minute. No, you should be okay. If your screen is showing the picture, that's what we should be seeing. For some reason,
My screen is showing a picture.
we're just
Click
seeing
on
your
the
Yeah,
logo.
but it's. Let me stop here for a minute.
All right. Well, you're close.
All
Let's
right,
put it
let
that way.
Click on the little picture right beside where it says 2 bits.
Well, let's see it. Try it again here.
Okay, all the way to the far left corner, share your screen.
Got
far
that.
left bottom corner.
There's
Click on that,
there's
and then you should see something. You should see something there, and you click on what's on your screen. Then that'll let you go to share.
okay. Let me try it again.
John Miller is having
Not coming up.
connectivity issues.
Oh, yeah.
Geez.
And
Why
this
not?
doesn't bring it up.
Sorry.
Does that bring it up?
That
No.
does not.
No,
It says you're having connectivity issues.
we've lost your
Uh-oh.
picture now, darling.
Says it's sharing, but all it's sharing is my folder here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting nothing.
I think I know what I gotta do. I gotta get a try this now. And I'll go once. Try to figure out how to get that to application. Oh, let me try this. I'm having fun, but it's just let's see here.
John's having fun, but it doesn't take much to entertain him.
No, it's
You're right
Because
on that. Shiny
He can't even.
stuff
He can't even
outside the
get
road,
the picture,
you know?
and he's having fun. He's having fun, and we're not.
Yeah.
Who's backing up?
I just
Hope they don't run into anything.
Really? I hear the beeper going off. Someone's backing up something.
Oh my lord!
Aren't you glad you got on tonight?
Tell you, this is more
Okay,
entertaining.
Hey, there
than
we
Sean.
go. I see a picture.
John, I
I
just
don't-
see the plane.
I found
Okay.
the
Oh,
picture
yep.
that you had on.
Hey,
This is on
Woohoo.
John's site on Stunthangar. He's got his own his vendors
Oh.
column and everything like that, and he's got some of the plans there. This is the Zwei Panzerflug.
Yeah, that's
cool.
the one.
This
If
is
you
my
got
pen?
like 5 kits, we'll all get one, Dennis. Bill.
Look at
Does
that.
the White Panther float came up?
Dennis brought it up.
That's awesome.
Can you see it, John?
No, I've got.
Is that what Tom Creasy was building last year? He had one.
No,
Maybe he was working on
Okay,
somebody
that's
else's.
No.
One of the pictures I was going to show tonight.
Yeah.
What
See that
What engines does that
what do they
have?
call that? What do they call that pattern on the for the camouflage? Splinter. Yeah, the splinter fat.
Splinter
I got my
camouflage.
blue underside.
Mm-hmm.
What
That's
motors?
what it looks like. Twin motors.
What kind?
Magnum 15.
Okay,
Magnum
Okay.
15s.
cool.
And I have a bunch. I have 4 more pictures somewhere here. Figure out how to get them there. Let's see. Getting there to there to there.
Yeah, I don't know where else you had pictures, but oh, wait a minute, there's one. Did you put up the pipe last week?
No, I'm putting up the bike now.
Okay. I'm going to get out of here then, or stop sharing so you can take it back over.
I might have to get a lesson from Rusty how to do this.
Yeah, sorry I was away in the kitchen. I could hear y'all talking. I figured you'd get it before I got back, but what is it you're trying to show, John?
Well,
Is
I'm
it a
trying to
picture?
show you. This is coming up on the share, right? This folder.
No, I
I'm
got
trying
you.
to show
I just
the
got
picture.
you right now.
I'm trying.
Do you?
I'm trying to do this 2 bits byte. I've got my arrow on.
All right. Do you have the picture open on your computer, full screen?
I can't open it. There, it's open.
Yeah, it
All
has
right.
to be open.
All right. Now go to the share screen on here on the forum. See the left. Share your screen.
Okay.
Click on that.
Go to application.
Yeah, and then you should
Click
have
on that.
something.
Did it come up?
Now we got a blurry screen, but now click on your picture that was open and make it full screen.
Yeah, and don't.
Okay.
Don't
Well,
close it.
that picture is not full screen.
All right.
Go ahead.
It.
You may not have enough bandwidth, John. We're having a
It's a
problem
big
seeing your
picture.
picture.
For some reason, it says you're having connectivity issues.
It's too big a picture.
Maybe.
Let me do this then. I think I'm beginning to get the hang of this.
Okay, there's your face now. We see you again.
All right. Let's see if I do this now.
Open your picture in the. Make sure your picture's still open in the background.
Did that come up?
No. Okay, something's
No.
coming. Hang on.
Every time you do that, it says you have connectivity issues.
Yeah,
I
maybe
think
the
I got
bandwidth's
too
too
big.
low.
Yeah. Okay.
Hang on. I better go. Sorry, I hit the button, but I'll have to go. I've got to go and do the dinner. But I might share some more of Max's pictures on Stunthangar. He wanted to come on live, but I said, sorry, you can't come on live. I'll share some of his pictures that he's drawn on Stunthangar in the general.
Why can't you come on live?
Oh, the copper thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
The copper laws.
Yeah.
You can't have no kids on this channel?
We're not
No,
sure. We're erring on the side of safety for right now. We got to wait and see how all this turns out, because the wording of the COPPA documents are so screwy that it's just an incomplete explanation, and we've got to do everything we can to make sure we comply.
Well, get him a fake ID. Today's 21.
Yeah, there's a slot in the computer where you can swipe it, probably. So.
Yeah.
You could put a credit card slot on the computer.
I know Rusty's got
he's
got the real plan on
Take it easy, Gerald. Good to see you.
Hey, Gerald, take care.
Good night.
Good night, Gerald.
I've got to head off now.
Good night, Gerald.
Take it easy, Gerald.
Take care, Gerald.
Yeah, good night, all. Bye.
Okay.
We're frustrating our audience. We can't put kids on to show pictures like that, or whatever, and we can't talk freely. Hey, Tran.
Hey, there it is. I see a biplane.
Oh, there.
Again, John, I found one of your threads on the BIPE. So here we go.
Oh,
probably not as good as your.
Don't take it down. My connection went in the tank. I got to go back out and come back in.
All right. We'll hang on to it for a little while here.
Okay.
Thank you.
That was when I was trying a different style of landing gear that didn't work out. So I went back over to carbon fiber.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Now see what Trayan was saying. See how small that rudder is?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that rudder's big enough.
Okay.
It might be big enough if it was a mono wing, but what it's doing is on the fourth corner of the square,
Cool.
it's dipping wing, wagging the wings and kind of bouncing a bit, and
Cool.
and then it flies out of it. So and that of course is monocoat on the stab elevator and both wings.
Looks nice. What kind of paint is on that?
Just monocoat, probably.
No, it's not. It's I'm trying to remember what I put on there. I think it's Rust-Oleum. No, it's not. It's a water base. It's a water-based Rust-Oleum.
Oh, no kidding.
Cool.
Looks nice.
Looks really sharp.
Thank you.
I thought it was probably dope.
No, don't
Apparently-
think it's dope.
Apparently, the problem is that it might look nice, but it has to fly as good as it looks too.
There's always
Yeah,
a
that's
catch,
the
isn't there?
But see, I think Trey, and I think you're right. I think that rudder could be enlarged and might get it up out of the mess, and probably quit using the top flap on that wing and just use the bottom flap or no flaps at all.
I know.
That you could even put you could put a sub rudder on it.
Yeah.
But then
You
if
see
you,
how
if you
thin
do
that
that, what I'm thinking is that if you put the flaps only on one side, then you have one of the wing producing more lift and the other one producing less lift, which means overall like kind of beating each other in the head.
Yeah, I
I
would rather see both wings with flaps or both with no flaps. I don't know if I like one
I
flap.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
What I said,
I
make the tail longer. That's what I said.
Yeah, that wouldn't hurt anything either, probably.
Make the tail longer and get it out of the dirty air.
Yeah. Fortunately, I can get in there and I can lock the flaps completely out, or just put one in. But I have the idea that I may make a slip-on rudder, just slip it on over there and try flying it that way before I start changing a whole lot of things.
Sure.
I think it could be longer. It's pretty long. I thought it was pretty long in the first place. That pretty high aspect ratio wing. Denny, you'd like this. That wing is 8 inches at the root, and it's like 4.5 at the tip, if I remember correctly.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but when you were building this, I made a comment that I'd surely like to see just one of those wings on a 15 size stunner. I thought it would be wicked.
You know, I remember that now that you mention it.
I said that.
I do
obviously, that was that was like waving a red flag in front of me and everything like that. But those long, skinny wings, what are they, about 350 squares a piece or so?
About that, it's actually, I think it comes out to about nearly, or at least 800 square inches total.
So it's like 400 square inches per wing then.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that with a 15 or maybe a 20 or 25 or something like that would be a pretty doggone nice starting point. So,
John.
Yeah, I think you're good.
Yeah.
For Steve, this is the plot on this wing is pretty close to elliptical, with the point towards the back there instead of towards the front. The taper, of course, though, is straight, and so that takes it out of the true elliptical. But the distribution, as I understand it, is close to elliptical on the wing.
Which is a good thing. This is what I was thinking when you said that you can disconnect the flaps and have like that. Fly the plane, disconnect the flaps, and fly the plane without the flaps. Okay. See what happens.
I'm thinking that.
Okay. If everything is nice and fine and dandy and stuff like that, that means you found your problem. Your rudder is in a turbulence from your wing, right?
Yep. One else you could try is that little wing right behind the canopy. What do they call that thing?
Yeah.
The one that they put on top.
Yep. Hmm.
Yeah, just straight in the air, hitting that rudder.
Yep. It
Yep.
is gonna
That
take
might
the
be a
air.
great use for one of them.
Yeah, it's gonna take the turbulence from your propeller, from your wing, and everything else, and clean up um, the the air going to the elevator and the rudder at the same time.
What do they call that? I forget the name of that.
I don't know what they
Two
call it.
bits pipe.
No, that little wing they put up.
Oh,
You see them
that
put
I
that
know.
out.
Hey, show where the lead outs are. That right there, that one. That lead out setup is designed where I can adjust it fore and aft and up and down. I only needed up and down to where I could find the center of gravity,
Mhm.
the vertical center of gravity, and then I locked it in.
Mhm.
But I had a lot of fun with that one.
The lead outs are they as far back as they look?
Yes, they
Yeah,
are.
they look a
Fairly
long way
far out.
back.
Well, they're back based on the formulation that, as I understood it. I'll tell you this: it flew quite smoothly. Had a nice amount of not excessive pull, and flew above 45-degree angle with the same amount of pull. So apparently, I'm close. May not be perfect. I've only had I only got about 5 or 6 flights on it, and then I set it aside to work on other things like moving, and so it's all taken apart down in the shop.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Can you put it together as fast as Tryon can put his airplane together?
No way, but I can take it apart as nearly as well. Let's see, the wing split in half, the stab and the rudder come off,
Uh,
and the gear, of course, comes off, and so it breaks down quite a ways.
yeah, I'm seeing that it looks like there's a lot of screw fasteners and stuff like that. And those, of course, they take a little bit of time. So
What that
yeah,
weigh in, John?
you know what? I can't remember right now.
well, look
That
at
I
that
had
that that means too
right
much,
there.
by
It
the
says
way.
72 ounces.
Oh, there it is. Okay,
Yeah.
for 800 square inches, 72 ounces is not bad.
Yeah.
What engine?
I started out with a Stalker 60,
Okay.
and trying to stop that. It flew well on the 60, and it did the same thing in the bottom of that last corner of the square. So I put a Stalker 80 and 81 in it, and
cramoly.
it flew about the same, and has still acted squarely on the bottom of the square loop. So
Okay.
it wasn't power that was the problem.
You know, I would associate that with the line guide being too far back.
Would you?
Yep.
It's a possibility.
And where I'm looking at, and I don't know why it would be more sensitive on a monoplane than a biplane, but I think if you have too much yaw, I think what you're doing is that big fuselage is wiping out your lift on your outboard side.
Oh yeah.
And maybe because it's
Something hit
channeled between two wings or something like, maybe the effect is overstated, versus what it would be with a monoplane. But the fuselage to me looks like it's fairly tall. I mean, it's big. It's a good sized airplane.
Big beefy
And
views, yeah.
yeah, I think you're getting a lot. The crepe pitch as big as the wing is. Tall as the wing is and stuff. I think you're getting some excess yaw working against you on that too.
All right.
How's that for expert from somebody who knows absolutely nothing about biplanes? So
I think
We
two
notice that
things
much,
happen
yeah.
here. First of all, we fly through relatively thinner air than the big planes, so the compressed air between the upper wing and the lower wing, it's not really there. And I think it has enough separation on the two wings.
yeah, it's got nice separation between the top and bottom wing.
Yeah, I don't think it's an issue.
Sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
I think that I seem to recall the rule of thumb there was to get like at least one wing chord between the wings, and
At
you have
least.
you have more
way
than
more.
that. You got
Yep.
looks like
Almost.
about 1.25 or so.
Plenty.
Yeah. The thing where I'm flying it here, I'm at almost 5 almost 6,000, no, almost 6,000 feet up. So
That ain't
I've
helping
already got
either.
a thinner atmosphere. No, that don't help it at all.
Well, I think, and that's why if you're getting any blanketing out of the fuselage and stuff, I mean, you need every square inch you can get, every ounce of lift that you can get and stuff. And the airplane's 72 ounces, which frankly doesn't sound that heavy when you put it on 800 squares, but with that power and stuff. But you get enough of the wrong thing stacked the wrong direction, you start getting what might actually be kind of a tip stall on the outboard side.
Uh-huh.
When it does its wiggling and wobbling, can you tell? Does it drop the outside wing, or does
It
it
drops
it's
both.
wobbling?
It drops one, then the other, and waggles its tail.
That's what it
Yeah.
sounds like to me. Tip stall.
Yeah, I think you're getting a stalling wing, and
Yeah.
and then the fin and rudder, I think, would if it's too small. Certainly, one of the things that would happen is that if it started wobbling, it would just keep wobbling and would take it a long time to recover. All right. So, you do that corner and start, say it starts wobbling and, out of the corner, and it might take it a half a lap to settle back down or something, Yeah,
It
exactly.
settled down in about 10 feet.
Okay. I think you're getting, I would try to put the lead out. My swag on lead out position is basically 1 inch behind the CG. All right.
What
Yeah.
are the odds? Whoa, wait a second. Wait a second. Are we looking at the wrong stuff yet again? I'm thinking the wings are so look a little bit thin. I mean, they might like uh, uh, have some torsion into them during the flight in those maneuvers because you put a lot of load on them, and and if you think like they're being constrained at the center, they want to do this, right?
Those are basically D-tube wings, aren't they?
Yes.
But I've seen videos. I've seen still pictures of people flying those D tube wings, and they have a lot of twist in them.
There you go.
That one doesn't.
You got angled ribs, and it doesn't look like you have any
shear webs.
web in there.
No, there's not a lot of beef.
Yeah,
there
I
is
would
shear
go.
web in there.
There is shear
Look
webs.
again. There is shear web in there. You can see the back ends of them there as they come into the spar. Right
Okay.
there.
Yeah, but
right.
still.
Shear webs on the tube would give it a lot of torsional strength, but no shear webs, you don't get much out of it. So
there's also shear webs back on the trailing edge.
Yeah. Okay. So
you can't see them, but they're there.
Isn't it nice having this little thing here, so we can pick on everything you built and everything else? So
I don't mind. I'm still learning, buddy.
You're showing off this wonderful project and everything like that. And we're just picking it.
We're picking it apart.
Yeah.
Nice guys.
That's all right. I take everything, put it in the old head computer, and try to figure out what to do right on the next one.
Yeah.
Well, how many flights have you got on it?
I've got about 6 flights on it, and I put it away.
Oh, don't worry about the next one yet. You need to fly this thing some more.
Well, that's right. That's why I've got it up here to talk about.
Yeah.
Did you ever see these guys as called flight test?
No, I haven't.
There are a bunch of guys, nice young kids, they are promoting this RC flying, father and son, and they use this dollar foam stuff, right? And it's very easy to use and stuff like this. So for prototyping something like this, I think that would be wonderful to do in a dollar store foam and just build a prototype of it of something before you go for something as you know, because you go before you go for brokes like this. So like if you have a canard idea, just make one of the plane out of dollar phone. And if you look at all of their stuff over there, pretty standard. You know, they kind of do the same thing over and over again, and it's simple to do. Hot glue gun stuff like that. Put a plane together in a day or so. You don't even care if you crash it. So
yeah,
so
yeah, that's probably the right way to do it. But you know, yeah, you
Well,
notice
John, you said the rudder
reason-
comes off, so you can make a bigger rudder and slip it on. Who cares what it looks
Yeah,
like?
just make it out of that dollar store foam. It'd be perfect. Slip it
Yeah.
right over.
I wanted to point out though that the thickness of the wings, you had the two, you stack the two on the top there, and they're about 2¼ inches thick. They're about an inch and an eighth each one at the root.
Yeah, just trying to eyeball your airfoil. It doesn't look bad or anything like that, but get a nice bluntness, so that's not causing the stall or anything. So,
John, ask Santa Claus for a USB stick video camera, and then just tape it to the wing, and when you fly it, see what happens.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because that might not be a bad idea, and maybe you even go and use some yarn thread and scotch tape and put a bunch of yarn threads on the fuselage or on the wing, and it's kind of going to tell you if you're stalling it or what happens there.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
video camera on top of it, but I don't know. You know what can I say? I'd probably say just options are. You have some options out there to test out. You know, just take remove the flaps, fly it without the flaps, see what happens. Put the flaps back on, see what happens again. You know, go back and
Bigger
forth
rudder.
between them. Dollar foam, make a little wing behind the canopy or right on top of the canopy, about half the wingspan of your elevator, about just a couple of inches wide, 3 inches wide, and put it behind the canopy, so it's going to clean up the air to the rudder and the elevator. That's
I
another
just
thing to
had an
try.
idea. I just had an idea. I could mount that little wing on a little pylon, put it right up, and then I could move it forward and aft to see where I got the best effect.
Yeah.
This one's a flight test. This one's a flight.
Say what?
This one is a flight test foam airplane that Like Tryon's talking about.
Oh, okay.
You can build these in about a weekend.
Huh.
If you take your sweet
Dollar
little
Tree
time.
foam.
If you take your sweet little time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, serious.
Well, I also brought the plans tonight for this airplane. I want to look at it, but I don't know how I can get it on there.
Well, I think I found your plan someplace too, John. So give me a couple of minutes. I think I can find them. Let's see. Tell you what, I'm going to stop sharing for a moment while I go looking for that. I'll so you guys can look at each other.
Oh, geez, the picture before was better.
Oh,
I thought you were going to stop. I thought you were going to stop sharing, Dennis.
Yeah, that's it.
Uh-oh.
I got our hook all up and then bang.
So did I just walk into that or what?
Yeah, you did.
Just like you were planning.
Let's see. In your plan folder, or your CAD Classics folder, I thought I saw a plan there.
There is. There is.
Tell you what.
Under the full body.
All right.
I think it's under full body.
Where's your better half, Len? Oh, he's gone.
Lynn's
Damn, didn't mean to scare him by asking him a question.
disconnect. You blew him off completely. Blew him
Really?
off the screen.
All right.
Well, that's
All right.
the mono version.
This is 2
That's
bits.
the mono wing version there.
All right.
That's a pretty plane. I like
So
the
that's
lines of it.
1 bit, right? That's the 1 bit.
That's the 2-bit. That's a regular 2-bit, not the 2-bit byte. The 2-bit is for 3540 size,
Oh, okay.
and the 4-bit is 35 up to 51, and the 6-bit, 2-bit, 4-bit, 6-bit, yeah, 75 cents is up to 75 or whatever you want to put in it.
Oh, I thought you
No.
called it a 2-bit because
But
it had
that's
2 rings. So I figured that was a 1 bit.
That little half-8 plane. Remember I told you the one that inspired the go back down there. There's a little half-8 plane there. There's the basic fuselage that layout with the pipe.
Cool.
But I don't know if I have one on there in the wing. I'm especially proud of the wing.
Yeah, I didn't see one. Okay, which one did you want me to call up? This one, the Blackhawk?
Go back. No, go back down. That one. There, Black Hawk. Can you
The twin.
You went past that one. That was the inspiration for the little twin. The little.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's a half-8 twin stunner. Ain't that cute?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Neato.
I can't imagine how you have 2.03 motors running consistently and starting easy.
It'd be great as an
It
electric.
sounds like a nightmare.
I know what kind of motors I'd have on it to make them run reliably. Let's put it that way. I'll bet you'd have about the same answer. So.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I wonder what you're thinking about.
There's that one. There is the Jack Sheik's.
Yeah.
What is it? It's
Torino.
Torino. Yeah, nice flying airplane. Once Jack told me what he did with the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
And the Planet has too small an elevator. See that little elevator down there? Ain't near enough.
Yeah.
Takes almost double it, about another inch on the trailing edge.
Mm-hmm.
Jack told me he did that. And I said, "Oh, now you tell me."
So why didn't you publish it that way, Jack? You know?
I haven't published it yet.
Oh, that's it.
And I'll double the
I've
flap
changed,
too.
I've changed the it on my files now, but I didn't put it up. Well, that was after I put that up.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I think half-A's will definitely will benefit from a thinner foil and more wing area.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have just they fly in even worse there than as the 60 size starter. I think it's 1-to-4 ratio between them.
Look at where I've got the CG sitting there. Those leadouts are too far back.
I agree.
Even with
you need to flip that. You need to flip that holder around.
Yeah, those leadouts are way back.
The tip rib, see the tip rib on there?
Mm-hmm.
That's the last rib in there. And it's still too far back. Like you said, need to flip that.
Yeah, I agree.
Flip it 180, and I bet you it's going to make a big difference.
I guarantee it. It'll fly way better. Those
John.
lead outs are way too rake back.
Yeah,
John,
shit, you're at midpoint of the airplane almost.
I think the
Yeah.
CG position's too far forward. I mean, it's like if you go 25% on a top wing, 25% on a low wing, and you draw a straight line between them, like that, yeah. The CG should be somewhere over there on that line.
Somewhere around here, I think is
Yep.
what you're saying.
Yep.
Well, I've got it.
Which means a lot
I
less.
laid that out looking at the top view, figuring the back of the bottom flap to the top wing leading edge. That was the total area that I figured was wing. That was what I was told to do out of the book. And then I figured from the top rib or the top wing, had to go back so far to match that line like you're talking.
Yeah. Well,
But
you know,
why am I showing up that far forward?
John, there's an easy way to fix this stuff. Yes, you have a hatch over there on the backside, you know, or just some scotch tape, and put some weight on the back of the rudder. Bring the CG back, bring it back more and more and more, until you feel like it starts to hunt, and then you're too far
Yeah,
back.
that's right. Exactly. When it starts to hunt, you've got too much tail weight.
Yeah.
Just keep adding it, and as long as it keeps flying level and not hunting, keep adding tail weight.
Yeah. If it's too touchy at that point, closing your line spacing on a handle.
Exactly.
And keep
Man, I
pushing
never
it.
thought about that, doing that to my Vizsla.
I agree 100%.
Adding some tail weight to him to make him hunt.
Yeah, I agree. Just keep adding.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Either that or take
Might
some
do
weight. Either that or figure out a way to take some weight out of the nose. A lighter prop, a lighter spinner, a lighter muffler, something like that.
Lighter engine.
So a lot of things are going to happen. First of all, your CG is going to move back as if you're moving your lead outs forward,
Exactly.
which is something that you want. Another thing that's going to happen by doing that, you're going to have much better quarter, much easier turn on a plane, which means less deflection on your control surfaces, which means less turbulence. So it's
most
so
definitely.
It seems like to be something to be desired. If you think of,
like just
No, I
looking
agree with you.
just looking at the airplane, the way I see it, just looking at the pictures, it looks nose heavy.
Mm-hmm.
That's my feeling on it. It looks like it would be nose heavy.
Mm-hmm.
That engine is way out there.
Yes, it is.
The engine's out there far enough to put a tank in there big enough.
I mean, I understand that, but you've got to get the balance right, and I think your balance is off right now.
Okay, John, you
I
mentioned
think
you
Trey
changed.
has a suggestion, a good one. A suggestion to extend the tail, move it back.
No, I don't
the
think you
complete
need
tail
to do
would
that.
be. You don't think so?
No, I don't
John-
think you need to go that far.
John, you mentioned you went from a 60 to an 81.
Yeah.
That 81 has to weigh more than the 60 did, didn't it?
It does, but it's not that much difference. You know, it is different.
I'll go back to the 60.
But the thing was,
Yeah.
with either one, 61 or the 81, it
Do you know
did
what
the
the 80
same thing.
Do you know
Say
what the
what?
81 weighs? What does the 81 weigh with the muffler?
I can't tell you. I'd have to go to
Okay.
the.
Okay,
All right.
I guess what I was
Yeah.
getting at, John, even if it's only an ounce on that moment, that's a big CG effect. And then I think you also,
Yes.
and forgive me if I'm putting words in your mouth, but I think you said that it actually flew well with the 60, and you put the 81 on it because you were you were looking at one way of trying to address that wobbling problem. You thought you were running out of power or something like that.
Right.
I guess I'd suggest you go back to the 60 and to all the CG exercises, and if you get an ounce out of the nose there, man, that makes your whole problem just a little bit easier, you know.
Right.
So,
Right. Well,
and then
I have
I
the
think
engine.
whoever said put a lighter prop, a lighter spinner, hell, leave the spinner off if it takes, you know, if that's what it needs just to get it.
Whatever
you
it
know.
takes to lighten up the nose.
Yep. Do some
Yeah.
extreme
Yeah,
stuff on
well,
it, and then sneak back up on it if later on if you want. But,
Good suggestions. I'll put the 61 back in it.
Yeah, take
Yeah.
the spinner
And,
off, fly it without the spinner, and try to see what that does.
Okay.
Well,
And since
how much does one of those plastic spinners weigh?
oh, they're lighter
Got a
than
pack.
aluminum. I can tell you that.
That's
they're
true.
pretty doggone light.
That's a pretty light spinner I got on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about what kind of prop?
I think
do
I'll
you-
leave the prop.
Do you have
No, you can't mess with the prop. The prop is going to load the motor. You have to
Well,
load the
the only
motor
thing
so
I
the
do
motor
with
is going to
the-
run properly.
True, but there are heavy props and light props. That's what I'm
Yeah.
getting at.
yeah.
Not a heavy prop, but I can't remember. I could go down. Have to go down to the basement to look at it to tell you what it is. It's
not
the
it's
one
not
we
an
finally
APC,
wound
is
up
it?
with.
The
No.
Once you put the 61 in it, though, the easiest thing to do is move the lead outs forward.
Yeah.
And if that
Oh, yeah,
happens,
for sure. Oh,
then,
for sure.
then you can try to, maybe move the CG back and
Mm-hmm.
move the lead outs back a little bit or whatever. But I mean, the easiest way is to move the lead outs forward and see what it does. If you're going in the right direction or not.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wonder what computation I came through to wind up with the CG there, because that is the wrong. It is in the wrong place.
It doesn't look right.
It's not too far off though. If you went, I just used my fingers to go 25%, 25%, and then find the middle.
Mhm.
It's about at that back of that CG range there.
Yeah, a little bit back of that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not a
that,
lot.
that
You're
green dot
half
looks pretty
circle
close.
off.
I think it's the bell crank pivot.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty close.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I agree.
Guys, I have a something to do tomorrow.
When you're designing, how do you even know where the CG is supposed to? How do you
Well,
figure that out?
Well, you don't on the first one.
I guess
you-
you got to know the weight of every single piece.
You don't know where the final
If you
one-
build it,
you
they
don't
will
know where the
come.
final one is.
You
Yeah,
got it.
that's right.
You
Let
have
me-
to
let me-
pass the
let me-
plane to
Yeah,
see
you
what's
have a
inside
lot
and
of
where the CG
vector
is going to be.
analysis and all that.
yeah.
The final one comes after you fly it.
Yeah.
But you can come darn close with the CAD work. You can come darn close. You can find things like the center, the mass, I forget what it is. You go out basically halfway out the wingspan, and that becomes your average span. And then you take 25% of that, move it straight across to the other one, and where it crosses your route, that's where your beginning CG is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the true CG is wherever it flies best.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You have to fly to
25
get
That
but when you
25%
do it,
CG
Yeah.
keeps
when
you
you
from
figure it
crashing the
that way,
airplane. So
when you figure it that way, you come up with a CG location that won't destroy the airplane when you go to take it off.
Exactly. You want to be
It
Yeah.
may not
close.
be, yeah.
all right.
You want to be close.
I don't know if we're finished picking on this or not, but I just wanted to say, and John, while you're at it, I've always hated green airplanes. Can you fix that?
I thought you liked.
Dennis,
You like transparent yellow.
Dennis,
That's
you
it.
just invited John to build every single plane from now on in color green.
Green.
Yeah,
Yeah, way to go, Dennis. Now we're going to see nothing but green airplanes out of John forever.
yeah.
We're all gonna go like,
way to
oh, we're
go.
gonna go fly at Brodex. Is Dennis gonna be there? Okay, we're gonna bring the green plane then.
Maybe yeah, don't
I
forget the
had
green.
to say that. You know, obviously
Didn't
we've
you
all,
ever remember a lot of green on that?
we've all been picking on the biplane. I think it's a spectacular project, and I think he had it at
course,
Brodac. Ooh, when were you there, John? 5 years ago,
It's awesome.
Yeah,
something like that. He had it at
I brought
Brodac.
it there.
The thing is spectacular in person too. I wanted to see it fly, but
I think the consensus on the color of the Hangout Special should be green.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't from it. That's it. You guys are on your own. I'm out of this picture.
Denny,
Have a nice flight.
Denny,
Every airplane.
Denny, what was that swept forward wing thing you brought to Brodax? That
Oh,
big swept
that
forward
was my
plane?
dad. Yeah, it was my dad's big wing. It was based on basically a double-sized sport wing.
Now, didn't you have a lot of green on that?
No, it was rainbow.
Yeah, there was green in there.
Good night, guys.
Boy.
Hey, Tryon.
Hey, Tryon, you done with your finals?
No, I have one tomorrow. That's why I want to go to bed, and I have one on Monday.
Oh, okay. Samantha's
Tryon,
got
good luck.
one more left on Wednesday.
Yeah, I just finished one of them tonight, which was an online thing, and just before I came in, so I'm beat up.
Have fun.
Joyous times.
Yeah.
Get some rest.
Take care, guys.
Hey.
See ya.
Hey, Denny.
Hang on a second
Denny?
here. I'm about to blow you away one more time here, so hang on.
I know you got a green airplane. I've seen it.
There you go, John.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Don't see nothing.
No.
See
No.
you.
It's not being shared.
Not being shared. Hang on a second. I was so proud of myself.
You shared one. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there he goes. I didn't have much green on it, just a little bit.
How would you think
Was
of
your
this?
dad there? Your dad was there when you
I showed up at Brodac with this to fly an old time stunt. And there's the judges. Before I flew, they said, can we just pose the airplane and take a picture with the airplane before you fly? All right. Did I mention this airplane is a judge's favorite? So yeah, it has a lot of green on it, but it has a lot of everything on it. You know, it's
Yeah,
1100 78-inch span, 1100 square inches.
Wow.
So Len, you've seen this, right?
I have. I was there. It flew amazing.
Yeah, it flies like a trainer. It's just really, really
It's
docile,
awesome.
easy to fly.
Oh, it flies really well.
The swept forward wing it was fun to trim because it'll just kind of bank one way or the other, and it gets perfectly stable into an unstable condition and everything like that. And I did a bunch of strange trimming on it. I've got like about a half a pound of tip weight in it, and mess around with the line rake and stuff. I've got it to where it behaves consistently.
Well,
and
it was
the next step
behaving
is
nice.
going to be to see if I can take some of the. It flies like it's too nose heavy. You know, it's pretty heavy handed and everything like that. And I've been sneaking up on that, and it's been getting better and better all the time on it. But
it flew good at Brodax. I know that.
yeah, it does fly well.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Where's your cylinder head?
That's one of them English motors that are round.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a 14-cylinder radial. All right. So
Oh.
well, 14 magnet radial. Oh,
That's good.
It yeah.
So you got a trim tab on it.
I got to dig a little bit for it. I think I've got the oh boy, where is it?
First time I saw it, Denny, you were holding up with one hand up in the air. The thing looked like a huge boomerang.
Yeah. Now this is going to drive me crazy. I had the pictures here someplace. Okay, wait a minute. Bear with me. I'm sorry to. All right.
Look at that flight picture up there. The color one.
Yeah, this is the one I wanted to see. You know who that is?
That's your dad.
That's my dad back. You know, he was only middle art back then. He wasn't big art yet. So
Middle art.
I believe 1950.
Yeah,
Really?
look at that car behind. Look at the cars behind him.
I'm
Yeah.
not getting any.
Yeah.
I'm not getting any of these pictures. That sucks.
What do you
That's
mean
how
you're
big one is. One of the things that made it possible to build the replica is that the original wing still exists. Over time, it was originally built with a square fuselage, and then it was rebuilt with a round fuselage, but it wasn't built that way before 1952, so we had to stick with the square one, and everything like that. But that's him posing the original and me posing the reproduction. I'm 6'4". All right, so that's how big the airplane is.
Wow.
And let's see what else. That is my oldest brother Arch when he was like 2 years old. If you blow this
All
up,
right,
it's
there
like
we are.
new for 1951, I think is what that time we blew it up. You were able to
That's
just barely
awesome.
make it out. And
What
yes,
is
Oh yeah,
that might be my favorite picture in the universe right now.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, did your dad design that plane?
Yeah, him and his brother did.
Oh, okay.
And the
Oh,
whole
I
story,
didn't know your uncle flew.
yeah, my uncle who he stopped flying a long time ago and stuff. He got into other things, but back in the Ford, this is like 1950, when they did this. The whole backstory on it is that one of their flying buddies had a Testers Junior 29 that he blew up to double size, and that made it a 72-inch wingspan. Or no, 72 might have been 76-inch wingspan. I'm not, something like that. Well, if you take the D'Amico, you take the sport wing and blow it up, it was 36-inch. So you blow it up and it would be only 72. And of course, that wasn't enough. So these outer ribs in the tapered section, where each rib was spaced an extra inch, so I could get up to 78 inches. So it was bigger than the other guys. All right. And it was pure, model making at its best,
It's the same
Yeah.
wings. It's the
That's how it
same.
ended up that big.
It's the same
What
wing.
did they fly? What motor did he have on that?
He had an OK 60.
Oh,
That's
all
my
right.
brother Arch with it. Now the funny thing is
Awesome.
that it's a 78-inch wingspan, but nose to tail, it's the same. It's just a little bit shorter than a barnstormer. Okay.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
The wingspan on that is the same as Windy's sweeper.
Yeah, that's it.
That's amazing.
But how much did it weigh?
His weighed at least 8 pounds.
Wow,
Mine weighs 64 ounces, about 4 pounds. So
Wow.
that's amazing.
guess which one we think. That's all. That was the only name they had for it. Big
The
wing.
big wing. That is cool.
Designed by my dad and
is-
his brother Paul.
So
I
cool.
like the year. Was that,
That was
carbon
designed
fiber?
the year I was born.
Was that carbon fiber strengthening up those ribs?
Nope, no carbon in it anywhere.
What is that little black strips I saw there? I'm trying to figure out what they are.
Probably laser burn. The whole thing's
Laser
cut.
burn, yeah. Yeah, it's just laser burn.
The ribs
Oh,
are
okay.
all, the ribs and spars are all light ply. All right, and it's planked. Leading edge, trailing edge is 3/32 sheet, and then the flippers, 3/32 shell, top and bottom with light ply ribs, and fuselage is light ply. So
That would make an awesome kit.
that's my Uncle Paul. He was the other co-designer. So
So cool.
Yeah, and that's
Way
how it,
ahead of its time. Yeah, that design is way ahead of its time.
yeah, well,
Wow.
it was funny. I told Dad that, after we flew it, and we were surprised at how well it flew. His original, believe it or not, did a total of 4 inside loops in its lifetime. He always had trouble with the engine and everything like that, and of course at the weight and everything like that, it was a load. But the basic wings, there's the basic wing structure: light ply spars,
That's
light ply
awesome.
ribs. Because they're light ply, you can really, hollow them out a lot. So there's not, none of it
I
stays.
love the jigged ribs.
Yeah, and
I love the
the
jigged
jigs,
ribs.
tops and bottoms,
That's
so we could,
awesome.
keep it flat on the board and everything like that.
So awesome. Perfect.
And the fuselage was all interlocking and everything like that.
So
So,
nice. Wow. That's a work of art.
Yes, it is.
well, actually,
It
the
was
original
a
was
work
a work
of
of
art.
art. This one was a work of Dennis. Oh, sorry.
The first one was a work of art.
Yeah, the first one was a work of art. Definitely a work of art. All right.
I think yours is a little lighter than his.
Well, actually, this was my brothers here. We got the two.
Okay.
My brother Dave built one also, and we got the 2 of them out at Bobby McDonald's contest there in Wayne. And
That's awesome.
we got my dad and his brother out there to pose them. So
That's awesome.
Now, were any of your brothers good stunt flyers like you, Dennis?
yeah, they were all stunt flyers.
I didn't know if they ever, won senior or the
Well,
old
my little
country.
brother won senior twice. My older brothers, let's see, Dave got a 3rd in senior, and Arch, I'm not sure what his highest placing was. Okay, this again is the original airplane. In one of its interim mods, it had a round fuselage and a little tail on it. Later on, they took the landing gear off completely and they flew it off a dolly.
Huh.
But anyhow,
That's cool.
That's cool.
that's all.
8 pounds with no horsepower.
Yeah,
That
it
was
was
something.
heavy, but at least it was underpowered.
Yeah. I'll remember that.
Yeah, that's it. Well, it's just like when it like our weather today, it was rainy, but at least it was cold and windy. So
Ian, we had sunshine today, lots of it.
well, good. Send it over.
Yeah, we had
It'll
rain
be there.
today, and it's snowing right now.
Yeah, we didn't get any.
We had 4 inches.
Whatever my weather is usually goes east from here, so you'll get it in a day or two.
Yeah, it's coming here now. I mean, it's going to be total hell in the morning when it rains and then it freezes.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that's how it was this morning for me. I sent it your way, Steve.
Thanks. Hey, man, I appreciate that.
What a sweet guy. Just sharing it. Man, Tom, you're a sweetheart. You know that?
I talked to Dick last night, and we may, once his chemo's over here in February, we may take off and come down south or whatever and do some flying for a week or 2. So we're thinking about that, making the rounds down there and flying where it's warm. Because there won't be no flying. Well, we didn't get no fall here. It went from summer to rain and wind to snow. I mean,
boom.
Yeah,
But
you can come down here and fly it.
I thought I was going to have to
Triple Tree
this airboat from Florida. I had so many puddles in my yard. I could have ran the airboat in my yard.
You got an airboat, Steve?
My uncle does.
I had one up in Alaska. Boy, they're handy.
You know what? Me and my uncle were talking about that. He goes, "Why isn't there any airboats in Michigan?" He goes, "You could run them like a snowmobile." He goes, "You can take them out on the lakes and ice fish off them or whatever, I don't have to worry about the ice being too thin.
Yep.
But there's just nothing here. But yeah, they'd be great. But I told them
We used to run.
you'd have to build
I
it
used
with
to run.
a capsule. Because I
Say
told
what?
them, I said you'd have to build the airboat with some kind of a capsule, because with that propeller sucking wind past you at 100 miles an hour,
You'd freeze to death.
you might go 2 miles before you froze to death.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I've
You
seen.
Hey,
Look who's here.
airboats.
Howdy.
Say hi.
Oh,
Got food.
Hey, where you
got
going,
food in her.
Naomi? Where you going? Get back here.
Say it again.
Naomi, get back here. Where you going?
She's got food in her mouth.
Well, what?
Well, tell her to bring enough to share. All right.
Yeah, you gotta share the food. Just come and say hello.
No,
They want you to say hello.
Steve, you made
Can't
you know
see you
Bob
yet.
Branch?
She's back.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing, Naomi?
That's
Hey,
Dennis.
Naomi.
Steve.
Hey, you got floats on your airplane so you can start flying in the winter?
What's that?
Have you got?
I said you got floats on your airplane so you can start flying in the wintertime.
I can't handle the cold. I'm a really bad Canadian.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, Naomi
You're
doesn't do
already
cold.
You're already in what's kind of like southern Canada, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, you should. You guys get the warm weather there in southern Canada.
yeah,
Why do you think we're here?
yeah.
It's not my choice. I'd live up in, where it's colder than cold.
That's not true. You're a liar.
Yeah.
You like the Northwest Territory, huh?
No, it wouldn't bother me. I've lived up in the north for many years, but it's better here. It's warmer here.
Yeah.
Territory isn't exactly the great white.
Well, it's north enough. Get enough snow.
Yeah.
Got any presents underneath that Christmas tree?
No, not yet.
Knowing how he's been all year, he ain't getting any either unless he buys
No, I haven't been a good boy at all. There won't be anything under that tree for me.
A bag of a lump of coal, baby. That's what you-
That's right. A few chunks of coal and maybe a piece or two of firewood. That's about it.
yeah.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
presents.
It's pretty though.
Guy. I got enough gifts this year. Naomi bought me a couple of motors. I can't say a thing.
Mm,
Damn, I guess.
that's it.
Yeah, K-77s and road jets don't come cheap.
No.
No, they don't. I just can't
Me,
believe though that you're that good of a husband to deserve them. So I don't know why you got them.
Oh.
That's all right. The whole plan, Naomi's whole plan is she keeps moving up the ladder. She's going to be flying the K-77s and whatever.
I bet you
That's a good idea.
I'm
she's
gonna try to
She
be
knows.
the first woman on the stunt team going to the world champs.
See, now that they're allowing that extra woman for each team to go to a world champs, now she really wants to learn to fly stunt.
Oh, jeez.
I have to learn to at least fake my way through the whole pattern, and I can.
When did they start that?
Well, I don't know. That there seems to be this thing now where any of the FAI teams can have an extra woman on the team if they qualify to make the team as an extra add-on.
And
I hadn't heard that one.
Junior as well.
And a junior as well, of course.
Well, I can kind of understand.
So now
that
they're
because
letting you have a junior on the team as well as a woman.
I can understand that with the woman though, because who's going to cook and clean for the team?
Oh, Naomi's going to hurt you. Naomi is going to hurt you. I can see this coming.
I'm gonna have to.
Everybody,
I'm gonna have to
everybody
text
say
Steve.
goodbye to Steve.
protect
Well,
you.
it sure
Goodbye to
won't be
Steve.
less
It's not going to be.
No.
It's going to be ugly.
Oh no, I won't be doing that.
Who's gonna?
Naomi loves me. She knows I'm funning her.
Oh yeah. Who's gonna clean?
Are you
for
sure?
the team?
I pick on her all the time at Brodak and stuff. She's a good sport.
If I do make it on the team, Len's gonna be my pit crew, so
Thanks.
Oh,
She figures she has more faith in her making the team than me. That's always nice.
Well, I was
that's
gonna
good.
say if you make the team, Naomi, you get to pick a good pit crew.
Oh yeah. Dennis needs to have a drink after that.
I'm trying hard to bite. I keep biting my tongue. What can I say? So
That's right. Good boy. You're a
mm,
smart man.
It's
that's
just
it.
lucky. It's just lucky I'm politically correct.
Yeah, right. That's where it is. Political correctness. Oh boy.
Ah.
I think McBride just joined us.
Hey, all right.
what the heck are those guys doing over there?
They're getting ready to go to bed, most of them.
Hey,
Yeah.
Steve,
Hey,
and your
Steve, what's
girlfriend
going
home?
on?
Hey, how we doing?
All right. You're late. We're going to
Yeah,
close
he
up.
had to wait till his girlfriend left so he can get on.
Yeah.
I don't see his picture.
Who's?
Brad.
Steve? Yeah, he froze. Oh, now he's moving again.
No,
Freezing
right?
up a little.
Is he here?
We can hear
There he
you.
is.
Okay,
You
you can
missed
hear?
all the good laughs.
All right, what's going on tonight?
You missed all the good laughs. You're late.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won't let me talk anymore and say stuff like that, and they kick me off.
I'm
That's
going to
it.
kick you off of here for your own protection if you don't watch out.
That's it.
You're the winner.
Gonna mute it.
And for
Gonna
my,
mute you before
and
you.
for my reputation,
Although it may be too late for that, but
I don't want Steve preceding my reputation either.
you just don't want to get caught by the shrapnel. That's all.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, guys, I think I'm going to get going. I'm going to hit the sheets. It's time to
Yeah,
get
that
some
sounds
shut
like a
eye.
great idea. I think we'll close
All right.
up shop for tonight.
Turn on
So
that
good night.
electric blanket.
Yeah, I
It's
gotta
so
get
cold
some
there in
sleep
Canada.
too. Not all of us are retired.
All right.
Yeah, that's what we
I
got.
gotta
A bunch
laugh.
of retired guys. Got a bunch of retired guys playing with
Yeah.
toy airplanes.
Really?
All right. Good night, guys.
Okay, I got.
See you
Yeah,
next
just
time.
one more. Just one more thing here
We'll see
before
you
I
Friday.
bail out here. Remember, I mentioned earlier that I was owed a set of plans to Larry Fruits in Plymouth. I just got a text or email from Larry. He says, "Okay, I'm listening on the chat. Thanks for the plug on my plan request. Now get to work." All right.
Nice.
There I go, man. Right down the pipes. So
Right down the tube.
that's it.
I
Oh,
sure
well.
am glad
Well,
you
Dan-
guys showed up. 'Cause I got off to a slow start tonight. Y'all came in and provided good entertainment. So I appreciate it. I
Oh, man.
appreciate all of the stuff that John posted up that Dennis helped us look at. So we'll have to get you up to speed on screen sharing, John.
Yeah.
You might have
Yeah.
a computer problem with that. I don't know. But,
I might.
And
we'll figure it out.
I still think we should take up a donation for maybe some yellow monocoat for John too. Get rid of that damn green stuff.
We'll
Well,
see if we can
yellow
get some. See if we get some more green for Dennis too.
I
Send him
I
a
got
roll.
a
Send him a
roll.
roll for Christmas.
got a roll of purple monocoat here. Maybe he wants some of that.
I think we should all send Dennis a roll of green for Christmas.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes, yeah. You can send me a roll of green, just not green monocoat. All right, just send me a roll of green.
Wrapped with a rubber band.
Actually, I have no idea what color is Canadian. What color is Canadian money now? It's not green, is it? You got all different
We don't
colors.
have any green bills up here anymore. We got rid of those.
Yeah. All right.
They were only
Well,
ones anyway. So
Send
we
me
didn't
some
need
reds or purples or something. I don't know.
them. Okay. Good night, guys.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
Me
Been a
alone.
great time. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Right.
See
Hey,
you guys
Denny?
Friday.
Denny, PM me here in the next couple of days. We'll get that started.
Yeah. We got to get our email exchange and all that kind of stuff. I can see if I can get that set of plans out. So
Yeah, you
There's a
guys,
last second announcement on YouTube from Ruben McBride. Says Alan Sabo and Danny Sabo. You'll find them on YouTube doing a memorial flight for their dad on November the 7th. Okay, and they are world champion helicopter pilots. Okay.
who is that again?
Thanks, Ruben. You want
Who
me
is
to say it again?
I didn't hear the name.
Alan Sabo and Danny Sabo. You'll find them on YouTube
Okay.
doing a memorial flight for their dad. Okay. All right.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Ruben. You got that in just under the wire. And with that, we're going to call it a good night. Y'all came in and made it a great show. I stumbled at first because I didn't have anything to talk about. So y'all bailed me out. Thanks a lot. Okay, people.
You're still the referee, man. You're still the one who makes it. You're just still the straw that stirs the drink. All right. Don't worry
All
about it.
right. Thanks, Danny. Okay. Fair winds, tight lines, and we'll see y'all on Friday. Same bat time, same bat channel. And
Okay.
good night, everybody.
night.
Good night.
Good night,
Night.
If I can find my off button. There's the off button. All right. Good night.